Go ahead.
So I guess my microphone's working.
It's been working, yes.
Okay.
We're just playing with it. Hello, everybody. How you doing? John, how you doing?
I am erotic today.
Yeah. Why don't you get into the mic and be erotic?
What? I gotta get closer?
It's all right. I want to hear you. I want to hear you. We have our guest, Mike. Mike Daniel Lewis Bird.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Wow.
I remember MDL.
Yeah, like the email address.
The famous email address.
The famous one that got me in trouble that time. How could we forget?
Mike, if you'd like to explain yourself as far as like how you got here and why.
Well, how I got here? Well, I drove up 93 to
good.
exit 40.
Oh, don't give
Okay.
the location of Socktalk.
Well, you know.
Say after us.
Don't give them anything.
That's why Dick Cheney was
Daddy
there.
Ray's is gun force, folks.
Yeah. Well, Daddy Ray's, as you know, let's talk about Dick. We're going into fits over here, but as you know from John, tell us about last time about Daddy Ray's and how you got enamored by the flavor.
They're delicious. I was really taken aback by the delicious cakiness of Daddy Ray's Fig Bars.
It was like a Fig Newton, but it looked like a knockoff Fig Newton and had a weird. Do you have the picture with you?
No,
on your phone?
It's on Facebook.
Oh, check it out. It's just like it's a weird it's a redheaded bearded farmer. Is it? Yeah, he's like and
it's very Amish. It's almost like Seth Green if Seth Green was Amish.
Yeah, and he maintains.
Wait, is it a photo or an illustration?
Fig farm in Iowa.
Yeah. Oh god.
Is Daddy Ray a real dude?
I think so. Yeah, he actually is because I did look up the website because I was all about trying to. I don't know. I was going to
get actual sponsorship.
Yeah.
But no, it was what was it with Big Daddy Ray's? No, I think it's Daddy Ray's, or is it Big Daddy?
No, that's Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane.
Right.
Which no, I think they got into a legal entanglement back in the early '90s.
Sponsor that I would like to look into is Bear Semen.
Bear Semen?
Yes.
Is that B-E-R?
Yep. Bear Semen energy drinks.
Oh, really?
That's Daddy Ray.
Oh, that's all you're gonna show him Bear Semen.
He looks like a more mature version of
that's Bear Semen.
Oh, wow.
I feel like Bear Semen's the way to go. Might be the
Bear Semen, the manliest drink on earth.
Yeah, that's gone out a little bit. That's all. We're using third party or third world XLR cords, so you're good. Yeah, you're good. Okay. I'll let you know.
But the Daddy Ray guy looks like the '70s Mountain Dew spokesperson, which was like a hillbilly.
Weird.
And I never got.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Mountain Dew was. I never questioned what it was. It's just like Mountain Dew is the name of the green drink that tastes good.
Not never actually what they're referencing.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, Dew, like growing up in the suburbs, I guess you don't really deal with
morning dew.
The morning dew on the.
So I used to have to wring it out of our grass every morning before and feed the sheep.
And then there's Mountain Thunder.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Thunder.
Dr. Thunder's legit.
Or that's Sam's Choice, I think.
Or
it's a lady's choice.
Is Sam's Club and Walmart are like the same thing. That's the
it's Sam Watson or whatever. Yeah. It's and which is like what Sam Watson based on or what was the
based on? I think it was
no, but there. I'm sorry, I meant like there's a fictional Walton. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that ever based on them as far as like because they were I don't know. Were they entrepreneurs back in? Yonder,
the Waltons,
the Watsons, or the Sam? It's Watson. Am I confusing again?
I think the guy that Sam's Club and that owns Walmart. I think it's a real dude.
Yeah. Like their family owns Walmart.
I don't think he's based on.
No, but I think what I'm saying is the Waltons. Is that based on a weird family kitschy
I know nothing about the Waltons.
Oh, but I thought that was your. Didn't you go to school for that? That's why we brought you on.
Walmart talk.
We're sponsored by Walmart. And Big Daddy Ray's. When you go to Walmart, be prepared for anything and to be greeted and to be needed.
Here's an interesting story. But I went to Walmart last week just buy some whatever
hang
things
out,
that you need.
Get late.
Yeah, sometimes it's
like
they have these motion activated ads now. Like I walked by an aisle and as soon as I walked by, there was like a 2-second delay. The thing's like, "Hey, try our delicious."
I I thought you meant the aisle had a 2-second delay. Like it just was a hologram. You just walked in.
I didn't know where I was. It was in the Matrix for some reason.
Wait, so it's like
you walk past it, and then it picks up on your motion, and then the ad kicks in and tries to get you to buy something as you're walking past it. But like the worst part is like when I go anywhere to shop, like I know exactly what I'm there to buy. So like I'm literally there, I'm there, going through the aisles, just
like a real dude's doing. That's what you're saying.
But like anytime you walk around and look at Walmart, like you just like everyone's like a zombie. It's like Night of the Living Dead in there because everyone's just kind of like.
Well, they're all also about to die. That's their audience.
It's true.
Wait, so you walk by an aisle and then it's like, "Hey, you!"
Yeah. But like I was already on to my next thing because I'm just there to get something and get out of there. So it's like it wasn't fast enough to catch me, but I was just wondering how many rubes that sucks in on like a daily basis. It's just like, hey, you need some Frosted Flakes. It's like I do. You're right.
Is it like Back to the Future with like Jaws comes after him or whatever?
I wonder how close we are to that. And it will happen at Walmart. Just like the Kool-Aid man just like bursts onto the scene and scares the shit out of you.
Heart attack Harry. That's what it's about to... Yeah. That's Walmart Talk. If you would like to know more about Walmart, please visit Sock Talk at socktalk/Walmart. And
Can we
even
say Walmart? I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No, here's our goal. We've established, or this is my personal goal. I don't know if I drag John into this, but to try
I'm part of the litigation now.
Of course, yeah, either way. We try to drag either someone through the mud or try to explain, like, our love for a product in absurd ways. Like, you know what? I was watching NBC's show Community, which causes AIDS, and I was there, and it was fantastic, and I loved it. And, of course, it doesn't cause AIDS. Wink. But it's great for fans
alike.
Not like
the competition.
No. Which, it's shown that T-cell counts in competition are higher than those who watch Community. No, just do absurd things and stupid things to try to get the notice of things, and hopefully people tell us to cease and desist, and or...
Any press is good press.
Yeah, or just a social experiment about, like...
You know what you should cease and desist from?
What?
Going to socktalkpodcast.wordpress.com.
Whoa!
You can also get episodes 1 through 5 on iTunes now, motherfuckers. That's right. I did it. Go fuck yourselves. Listen
what are you
to
talking about?
Yeah. We're going to have a website, and we're also on iTunes, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And people... This is getting confrontational.
No.
Well, good. Like now you can look at it anytime, you can on any device, and it's known to cause cervical enlightenment. So take it up.
Also
what do you? Yeah. Well, that's our other word. Our lawyers have told us cancer is not; it's enlightenment, because technically, Mike, as we discussed earlier, cancer is certainly the enlightenment of the soul, or you light up your soul with chemotherapy. I think that was part of. Was that what, like, the Japanese fire? Is that what it was?
Possibly.
Yeah.
St. Elmo's Japanese fire?
The
import.
Does Japan have a St. Elmo? Okay, Mike's on the floor. Oh, speaking of which, all right, the tangent, here it comes. I went out to, this would be a bunch of stories, but we'll get to another Walmart. Was that the end of the Walmart rant?
Yeah, that's really it.
Oh, really?
Walmart has zombies and motion-activated
Well, I mean, it's Walmart. What do you... I mean, it's just like anyone who, like, makes fun of Walmart. It's like, okay, it also gives jobs to people. It might be shitty jobs. It could be something. Tangent.
Phil on the economy.
Yeah.
Back in 5.
I explained a mutual frenemy of ours, if I dare borrow a phrase. Ted Danson showed up again. No. A frenemy of ours and former Push Me Pull Me, V. Eckhorn, or... I'm trying to...
Weird gestures.
I'm making gestures. Hold on. No, it's not going to go anywhere quick. No, but I was at a Thai restaurant in Stoneham, which caused quite the poop, might I add. And that's another plug. Well, it was one of those intestinal... You know when you have to go to the bathroom really bad, but it's just kind of like your gases are built up?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Really?
It's nice and clean, BMs every time.
Then you are...
Every shit I have
poster boy.
So I do know what you're talking about.
No. No, really? You've never had like a real bad... I've had really good shit. I love shitting. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love shitting. Hold on. We're going to cut out again. The gods don't want to hear you.
Yeah, it's a disaster. At least once a day. It's
really?
A disaster.
What do you eat? Now this is turning around.
This is getting too personal.
How is this getting too personal? Have you listened to the show? I heard when I talked about finger banging. Oh no, it wasn't you. It was that was my mom I was talking to about that. Well, we were discussing the difference between finger blasting and finger banging.
Oh, you think, Phil?
It's like, well, one's more kind of like a up, and away, and the other is just kind of a looking for keys in the dark.
Wait, so you're at a Thai restaurant and you ran into a friend of
No,
yours?
I didn't. I'm totally not telling a story as a normal human would, but it's, I forget what the tangent was. All right, taking a bad poop from that.
Wait, so you didn't run into
I didn't run into someone, but I went to dinner with my lovely wife, Steph, who is kind of a friend of me, I guess, if you want to put wives in that category.
She's a friend of me of the podcast.
Of the podcast, yes. That's a perfect place to put it.
Of the people.
People. And a friend of me for and by the people. BI. And then...
The peephole.
The peephole, yes. I want to make sure we get every...
Is that like shitting out again?
No, it's the cord. It's always the cord. There you
Shove
go.
it in.
It's the male end of it that's giving you the trouble. Ain't I right, sisters? Ain't I right? But what happened was I explained. You actually told me it. She never told me. It's an old girlfriend of mine who I actually, in hindsight, really liked. An old girlfriend of yours.
Oh,
and who
share. Phil and I shared a woman in college.
Really?
Not at the same time. I've struck a nerve here, apparently.
That seems so bizarre to me.
Oh, yeah, well, I had a fear that this would turn into...
a million stories.
Yes.
Did it eventually come down to you two talking about, like, was his dick bigger than mine?
No.
Well,
Wow, you are just...
Well, we both have innies, so I think it's an issue of depth, not like...
Is that how you measure your belly buttons?
But...
All right, go. Yeah, I know. It's a world of weirdness.
But of that whole debacle, I think Phil has the best story involving his brother Jeff, a unsolicited drive from Norwood to Methuen, and hiding in a closet like the R. Kelly epic.
Hiding in a... I don't even remember that. I remember
years ago. I thought this girl who names have been erased from the record at this point.
Well, we could say it, but I mean, it's not really. Go ahead.
It's better if it's not a real person. It's better if we made this.
We do have an audience of dozens, so we don't.
Yeah. Yes.
This girl
is poison.
Now you know.
There has been
is poison.
This is how I saw. This is years ago. This is
you want to hold on to that guy again? I'm sorry.
Okay. This is probably almost 10 years ago.
Oh my God! Yeah, this is like 2005.
4.
Or for you, it would be 4, I think. But for me, it was 5. No, you're right. I think you're all right. 4.
Yeah. And there was. I remember you actually like the gentleman you are. At some point, you were like, "Hey, man, is this okay? You know, if her and I hang out?" And I remember just being flabbergasted and being like, "Dude, she's fucking crazy. You don't see, well, okay, I don't care." And then I just hear this story later on about like, "Oh, dude, she just like." This was after she didn't take the breakup very well, and then months later there was. Yeah, there was a knock at the door, and Jeff answered it, and I had to hide the closet.
No, I didn't hide. I wasn't there. I legit wasn't there. No, there's another crazy story. I know that.
Okay, then
I would never.
I
would never not like see her. I might not answer the phone per se, but that's not true. I did evade her once.
I think there probably would be times where. In the situation, totally ignoring and hiding in a closet to hide from this person in this situation is completely warranted because out of I remember getting a phone call on
Thanksgiving.
You were
telling me the story, yeah.
Like 2 months after her and I broke
sorry,
up.
John.
Oh no, I'm in it to win it. I'm enamored.
There was a point where I actually took the phone call and like...
That was your first mistake?
Guilt was like kind of tugging on me a little bit. Like it was very one-sided, her yelling, and I'm sitting at my parents' house on Thanksgiving, and something just snapped, and realizing I'm at my parents' house at Thanksgiving, and I'm being screamed at, and it was just like, wait, I don't have to take this shit. Okay, see you later.
What would the pilgrims do? Give her a blanket full of smallpox. Anyway.
But now I'm disappointed because I thought it was like this adventure of or this like suspense, like gotta hide.
Well, I've had plenty of those. I actually had one of the times, and to be fair, I actually really liked her, and there was a thought in my mind where I might marry this girl. That was a legit thing in my head. I actually remember having that conversation with Colby, and I don't think she was necessarily that crazy. I think there was a degree she was just very emotional about stuff. And maybe you might be right. I might be, but I'm stupid when it comes to that sort of thing sometimes. Yeah,
we are guys.
Whoa! Am I right, people?
Right?
We are
when they get emotional.
Yeah.
Like, what are you crying for? Shut up. Go make me a sandwich.
Yeah. No tears in it this time.
Just pull my penis out. Suck on it a little bit. Good job.
A plus. No, but it was really this. But I remember the whole thing. I actually liked her before you went out with her. And that was kind of
wow. Yeah, this is getting juicy.
It was very bizarre because I remember meeting her. She was she worked at where I would work at, like the equipment room at our college. And Mike and I, as you probably already guessed, we went to college together. We shared a small flat, and I was gonna try to make a lewd, a lewd, or and we share, it was a small coffee house we partially owned, and it was probably going to be just a gay affair.
Very tender.
Yeah.
Lots of tea sipping.
Yeah.
I think we could just cut to it. We were gay!
Gangbang Gary showed us around. He was a staple of the town. Oh, you remember him?
Gangbang Gary?
Gangbang Gary?
He was fucking...
He was a fruitful man.
Riddled with disease.
And
the Houston 640.
She did it. She broke the barrier. The sound barrier for fucking. But what was it? We went to college together, as you would have already guessed. And, so we've had our share of hijinks. And this definitely was one of those things where afterwards, and you had mentioned to me she was kind of crazy. She told me her side too, and it was just kind of like,
oh, God.
Well, she cried a little bit for that, and I'm like, oh, I feel, and, like being the guy, I'm like, I don't want to make you cry. But that's totally what I did. It's totally, we also had a great moment.
Girl, I didn't want to make you cry. Isn't that a song?
But then when you gagged, it just got in your eye. I'm sorry, I had to rhyme it. We got a spit take going. Well, this is what we practiced all the time in college. Like, I got the wheels.
Spit taking incoming.
That was part of like Clown de la Arte classes.
Oh my God.
But that's a whole nother weird story.
Someone else's balls while they're coming.
That's the art.
That's the
art of it.
The art.
It's called the cool down. That's what it's called. It's the move.
Isn't it actually?
No,
that's great.
Cool
That's
down.
brilliant. It's like just like a radioactive plant going down. The cool down.
Bring those balls back
get those
down to room
rods,
temperature.
yeah. Make sure they're waiting in cold water. No, but oh god. So we've been through a whole bunch of weirdness, and this whole thing. Yeah, you told me she was 9. She told me, like, oh, we went through this, and then blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, okay. So we went out for maybe. Oh, I thought that was a car. I thought you like your whole being was rumbling. But.
You're dredging up memories.
I really am
8 or
weird.
9 years ago.
Well, I think I knew this was going to be part of the podcast because it would just be one of those weird. Because they're also entertaining.
I'm being ambushed.
Emotionally, you could not have thought that at least one part of this is this like.
Oh no!
Oh, that's cool. All right, good. I'm like, I hope to God this isn't. No, but fuck no. We went out for 2 months and then. The breakup lasted for 9 months.
Right, that's the thing. Yeah. That was the thing about it.
The breakup, I learned more about her for the breakup, but you learn more about each other. But it was just like I was kind of a shithead in many aspects too. But it was also because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted, and I learned that I could have sex with people.
22 or whatever.
21, 20, like 20, and I was like, oh, girls like me. Like I really never had that. Right. I actually went out with someone beforehand. It was just like college was the time to. Stick your dick in things. But, that's...
Was that the girlfriend that you would call and prank on your radio show on WXPL? Your exclusive
alternative. A couple of them I did. I think Sarah I did, and she did not, like my wife now, she did not like the sort of limelight that I put her in. And she was a little younger. She was a senior in high school when I was a sophomore. And I talked to her a little bit. She and I are in a decent place. Most of my ex-girlfriends I'm pretty... Oh, but there was one you and I, we tag teamed in a IM sense, not sexually, but just about my pretend daughter, Molly, and I was talking about my dog. Do you remember that at all?
Fuck, it's coming back to me.
Well, this girl I went out with her, more or less, was more sex based, I guess. But
Yeah.
I had to.
Oh
It was
my
more
God,
horror.
and I was in on the joke. Like,
You were because you would like ask my buddy, and you'd be like, yeah. No, you seriously, Molly. But we'd never say it was a kid. We'd just say Molly because Molly was my dog. So technically, you wouldn't lie. It would just be like, oh yeah, I love her. She's great. You know, I'm
Oh
not
my
saying the
God.
other. And she was really.
Oh my God.
And she did like the kind of girl thing or the melodramatic thing she wrote on, when I am, for all you kids out there, I am. It's still out there. It's just kind of like Facebook, except its own application.
Well, yeah, just a chat application.
Instant message.
Instant.
A,
Oh yeah.
a step above internet relay chat, which is way back in the
Yeah.
day.
And
Which
real audio.
Now today would be either Facebook chat or Gmail chat.
Yeah.
You know.
Which would start with Meebo, I guess, was the first kind of like little tech talk for you. Meebo was the first like in-browser like chat system, and then that kind of went to MySpace. Well, actually, I think first Facebook, and then GChat. But enough of that. So yeah, we convinced her, and she was really upset. She wrote like a status, I am status of something like, I'm really upset with you. You know who you are, or something weirdly.
Right.
But I remember
status updates.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Instant Messenger, right?
Yeah. But all right, but the big cheese. So we convinced that girl that she was
cool.
She's
a cuckoo, right?
Which one?
You guys really haven't given any examples of why she's a cougar yet.
Oh no, we haven't. Oh no, go ahead. No, she wasn't.
Looking, I know you guys
She
are
isn't really.
reminiscing
I don't
about
think she's a cuckoo. I don't necessarily think she. I think she.
Well, I just want to get to the
over-emotional.
bottom of why I have this picture of you hiding in your closet while Jeff.
No, she actually came by, and I was actually riding with a friend, and my car was there. But she kept like harassing my brother about, oh, I know he's here. His car's here. And just like he's not here. I'm sorry. And I legit was on a car ride, and I came back. But there was a time where I had to go see her New Year's Eve. It was that kind of like very similar to the Thanksgiving thing. And this is probably what you remember.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, and I was usually New Year's Eve. I hang out with my buddy Jeremy, who we were talking about earlier before. And I was
there?
You weren't there. You were doing something. I don't know if you were with Natalie in Boston or something, but that's a whole nother.
Oh my God, that reminds me of one of my favorite stories from the canon of Mike Bird stories.
Oh,
but
okay.
go on.
All right,
finish this.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip the crazy girl after this.
Yeah.
Another crazy.
Well,
girl.
we should because it's. I actually think she's good-hearted, and she's good-hearted, plain and
And I think
good-hearted.
this
Most
show
crazy girls are good and bad, though.
No, oh yeah, that was definitely the.
I will always.
That was
I will
definitely
dip
the case.
my dick periodically in crazies just for the sexual experience.
Oh, that's
usually
where you got to be careful. But I mean, that's the price you pay is the price who you lay or whatever. I forget how that limerick goes.
I think it's
No,
take all you
that's a whole
want, but
different
eat all you take.
What
No,
if
that's
it's
I get oral sex.
Alcatraz? Oh no, yeah, that's. What about afterbirth? Is that one? That in on that?
No, you make shampoo out
Of it? Oh, or in a soup, as
right,
you can do
right.
a lentil. But no, yeah. What happened was, and this was that we went out like the end of October, so it was like a month and a half, or like the beginning of October. Then I think before Thanksgiving break we broke up because I was like, I don't know what I want, and and then it went on. I think New Year's Eve is when she called, like, oh, can we talk? And kind of crying half, like, can we talk? I'm like, oh, all right. And I was
You're just pinching the tip of your cock because she's crying and you just.
Oh, I'm just
swelling up.
Well, I mean, she lives in Norwood, and at the time I was in Methuen, and Norwood is like an hour and a half away. And so this was at like 11 or something. She asked me to
On
come
New Year's.
On New Year's, and then so I'm like, yeah, all right. So like no one else would. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I mean like, yeah, I did it. I went there and she was telling. She had like a list of things she wanted to go over with me. So it was like
a legitimate
a list, yeah.
So for those at home, this is like 3 months later.
This was like
An out
good.
of the blue crying phone call. I think
No,
that constitutes crazy.
I think it's a build up to. And to be fair, I let her on slightly with being like, I don't know what I want. Maybe I have to think about it. Maybe I don't know. But I totally said I want to be kind of friends right now. I don't know what to go on to. And it definitely sullied relationships for me going forward with other people that I kind of wanted to date, go out with people, and I just couldn't because I didn't feel right dating after. And I felt like I couldn't get away with it too, in a kind of sleazeball way. But no. And then I saw her. She went over her list, and she was half crying. I felt, I feel really bad. I'm like, I don't know. And I kind of, part of me was like, maybe I should just go back, and it'll be the easiest thing to do. And then I'll get henpecked in this whole thing. And yeah, so it was a really weird, but also the part of the story I remember you cracking up about, and it's really crazy anyways, because
I've forgotten
she lived with her mom, and her mom was kind of imbalanced. And I don't know how crazy she was. And then I'm like, And it's like, oh, where's your mom? Oh, she's sleeping. She took a lot of pills. And I'm thinking, I'm sitting there like, and she's like,
At least those chewable vitamins.
but she's in the next room, and I'm just kind of like at any moment, like she'll come out like Leatherface with a chainsaw, like to burst through the wall, and I'll just have to get out. Oh, I'm just here to see your daughter, and I just have to burst through the wall, and, like get out of there.
You have to defenestrate yourself to escape.
And but that was the crazy. That was one of the times I had to do that. One of like 4 or 5. But I was an idiot. And I slept with her again too. So that was dumb, very dumb.
Hey, we've all been there, man. But
Yeah.
but for
I love you, Monk. By the way, I'm
this
sorry.
will be.
I think I told you the story anyway.
She doesn't listen to this.
This will be. Please indulge me, people at home. This will be my last walk down memory lane. But the same New Year's that Phil was just describing. What I was doing, I was hanging out in Boston with this big group of folks, out getting drunk, shenanigans, usual New Year's shenanigans.
Oh shit!
And
I know where this is going.
And it ended up with, I remember spending, and I was really bummed. My girlfriend at the time, Natalie, who's now a writing assistant on the
She's
Bill
on
Maher
Bill
show.
Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher, who actually we did I helped her produce a reality show pitch, which I don't know if it's going anywhere now, but
Oh yeah,
whatever.
the dog thing.
The dog grooming
right,
thing, yeah.
right. And I wish she had to like leave with her family or like her sister and whatever before. She didn't stay over at my good buddy Adam Zano's house that I stayed at. But the story was we're in Alston. It's like 1 a.m. We have to get one of the last buses out towards Brookline Village where we were all staying. Me and 2 other people from the group break off and go to the nasty, disgusting Alston McDonald's. Completely shit-faced. Get some McDonald's. As we walk over to the bus stop where the rest of the group was, these 2 dudes we were with were talking to these 2 chicks at the bus stop. Whatever, I'm not thinking about it, I'm drunk. We get on the bus, we go back to Brookline, we go in the house. I pass out. The room is spinning, and then I'm waking up intermittently through the night. Hearing down the hall, laughing. I'm hearing my name being mentioned. I'm laying there. I can't even move. I'm so hungover at this point. This dude keeps coming into the room that I was...
I'm sorry.
There's some pretzel issues
Yeah, I was
here.
trying
I was
to
trying to snag one of my chocolate-covered pretzels, but he was looking at me like I understood him telepathically for some
No,
reason.
I was doing this with my
I
finger,
thought you
like I'm
wanted me to
eating.
talking to the microphone or something, just like
This-
to make sure it worked still.
Why would I do it during the
I
story?
don't know. That's why.
Well, it is a rambling story.
It's
But-
not. All right, we're
but-
going there.
But
I'm listening.
I'm incapacitated, and this dude keeps popping his head through this little room that I'm sleeping in, and he's on the verge of tears. He's incomprehensible, and he just starts going, "Bert, I was supposed to sleep here," and sorry, dude, I'm out. I'm done. I pass out again, and I wake up, and he bursts through the door again, covered in a blanket, butt naked, but covered in a blanket. And wearing nothing but a knit caterpillar hat, like the bulldozer company.
What?
And he comes in after he's finally decided it's I'm not going to get Bird out of that sleep. It was like a closet. It was like a large walk-in closet that I was sleeping on the floor of. He comes in, falls down next to me. His sweaty bare elbow was touching mine. And I remember laying there feeling like just sweaty grossness. And my instinct is to like push over, but I'm done. I'm just going to pass out. I pass out. Wake up the next morning, completely hungover. There's a weird feeling in the air of everyone who stayed over. And I'm just thinking, man, I must have been a dick because I think I made a scene the New Year's before, like waiting for, what scene did I make this year? there's this weird air, and like, did I take the guy's room? Like, oh my god.
Hopefully you didn't take his prick, did you?
No. I mean, that I could have dealt with, but this whole group of us are walking to a Dunkin' Donuts because it was the only place open, and I'm really hungover. Like, this is one for the record books, and no one's talking. Everyone's really awkward. This one girl, I'm freaking out because I'm thinking it's me. Something's wrong with me. I made a scene. I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what happened? What happened? And this girl's like, well, we'll tell you later. We'll tell you later. We'll tell you later. The kid who slept next to me in the room stops in his track, turns around me, gets in my face, and goes, Bird, me and John had a three-way with that girl we met at the bus stop last night. I burst into tears laughing, and laughter is the best medicine. I had never recovered from a hangover so quickly. Oh. I was completely cured within... And then we get into details of the story, so they come...
Well, here's a lesson for you kids. Well, get some comedy in you.
Yeah, there you go. I guess they come home from the bus. These two girls they picked up at the bus stop. One was good looking, and one was her friend. And...
That seems the way it always works.
Right.
It's always that one.
And these guys, these... Now, I'm going to cop out and say N-word for
oh no, but you can but it was her
So I'm sitting before I passed out. I was sitting in the living room. The kid who slept next to me is talking to the attractive girl they picked up at the bus stop, and they're having this deep conversation, this deep drunk.
Well, because they were digging all day.
Who am I? Who am I? What do people think? And
society's mask.
Right. And this one kid is like, well, there's parts of the country I go and they call me a hippie, And this girl tries to one-up him by going, oh, you're a hippie. Places I go in this country, they'll call me a hippie, but they'll also call me a N-word, and she yells it. And
did she yell it, look around, N-word?
Pretty much, and I'm just, this is too much, I gotta get up. I'm expecting a more, this is nonsense, I'm going to bed. I'm expecting more of an awkward feeling about the whole group. The kid who ended up sleeping next to me and having a three-way with this girl bursts into laughter and gets in her face and goes, ha ha, hippie, N-word.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is gonna turn into a fight or something. But then almost immediately after he said that, I guess she dragged him and one of the other roommates into one of the rooms, immediately had their clothes off, and went straight for the DP. Not just like a three-way, here, have your turn, here, have your turn.
Occupying the same space.
Push me, pull me, yeah.
This was DP. She was quoted with saying... Unprotected, too. Unprotected.
Well, I mean, what other way is it?
Ripped the clothes off. DP, they met her 10 minutes before at a bus stop. She's quoted with, mid-coitus,
all right, this is what
quoted with, there's nothing I'd rather be doing on New Year's. All the
while... Well, you have to do, there's nothing, it has to be tired and yet all... But she gets it on, 5-second,
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah. What's next? She'd rather be doing.
Where? I'm waiting. This is very important.
While her friend is playing solitaire in the kitchen.
It's my favorite. Tuesdays.
And then the kid who slept next to me, the giggling in the hall was him leaving that room, busting into my friend Adam's room, crying, going, I fucked up. I think something's wrong with me.
Is there anything wrong with me?
And the girl he's with is like, well, you didn't use a condom. Well, I guess you could just wash your pubes with antibacterial soap. And then he was like, no! Don't confirm my fears!
What do you want?
And then he goes and sleeps next to me. So hence the sweat and the nakedness and him wrapped up in a blanket.
Yeah.
6 months later, we're doing some headhunting for a short film at college. This girl sends her headshot in. And
she was in the movie she quoted, there's nothing I'd rather be doing.
She's very insincere. She wanted to do.
Well, you could have... And my joke, I think, at the time was, it's perfect. It's perfect casting couch material.
Right.
Well, she definitely was in it to win it.
But
What?
I don't know.
What are you looking at?
You know that fucking Coney thing that's going on this week that everyone's on about?
Oh, you're gonna bring down this story?
Jim
with
Starlin.
It's
Coney?
not as good of
If
a
Thanos
story.
or Doctor Doom actually existed, wouldn't you do everything you could to stop him? Joseph Coney does exist and should be stopped.
Well, why would
If
it?
Joseph
There's nothing I
Coney-
can do to stop Thanos.
Yeah, you could.
How could you stop Thanos?
You
How could
can't.
I?
Well, if Thanos existed, then you'd have to say superheroes exist
Exist,
and
yeah.
they're in their own realm.
Yeah.
They,
Just like the Morlock kind of like Morlock mentality. Like, yeah, we'll let them do whatever they're gonna do.
Just
Well,
seems
me,
like a
if Damage
silly
Inc.
comparison.
has to clean up after.
the Morlock.
Oh, not the
Wait,
damn
what
it.
did you say? The Morlock.
Well, that's the Morlocks. Not the actual one. I was referring to more H.G. Wells Morlocks.
H.G. Wells.
As opposed to the X-Men Morlocks. Or Marauders. No, Marauders killed the Morlocks, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so. Wait, that's a
Got
good
that
segue
right.
for some comic talk here.
Well, let me just sum up the parable, or like what we can, what you can learn from all this. Never fuck someone you met 10 minutes without contraceptive. Or if you do, make sure to use antibacterial soap on your pubes, no matter where. And you can get laid by saying hippie nigger. You can just quickly.
Sure, I'm gonna try that.
Doesn't matter who to.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone likes it, please pardon the language. But I'm just quoting what it was said. If I can soften the R, I will. But this is what. That's part of. If you do that, if you say that, there's a good chance on New Year's Eve.
It will be the best thing
It's
you could be doing.
no. Here's the thing. Before we segue into the comics, why do you have your hood on like a high kid? That is what I want to know. Why are you doing this to me? Because now I look at you and you're just like we're in my dad's like car like in 6th grade. Like, oh, I don't know, someone's gonna show up. And it's like,
I'm just chilling. I got the hood on. I'm just listening to you two talk. I'm just sitting this episode out. I'm an
no, I want you to come in. But I knew this was gonna
There's
happen.
so much zaniness going on.
Well, you can add to the zaniness.
Wait, have you guys ever shared a woman?
Actually, yes.
Did I strike a nerve?
Yeah. I told you not to. No, we We shared a couple women.
Polly Shore.
Polly Short. We short. That's a maneuver.
short.
You've been short. Shoreman. That's what we're calling. It's a club. I'm sorry. Too much. But no,
Semen.
Semen. Oh, I see him all the
I don't know,
time.
maybe a Malibu Stacy.
Yeah. Wow. You really don't be bitter, buddy. Get involved. Yeah. There you go. The hood's coming off. Oh. Well, let's get in the comics, and then I know you'll definitely have something to say about that. I feel like this is me getting
My comic book upkeep's pretty bad lately. I have been out of it for years now.
Yeah.
I'm
Mine's
pretty.
not-
Every time I read something now, there's like something new going on in the universe that like I just have no idea about. It's like that whole Fantastic Four thing, the whole Fantastic Four redo.
That's pretty recent though.
The X-Men. I took a look at
Wolverine
making
and
like
the
an
X-Men?
X-Men Avengers mashup
Oh.
versus Avengers.
Yeah, which we can get into obviously.
AVX.
Uh,
The 90s.
And now we're back. Well,
There's
okay.
all these weird characters. I just have no idea who they are.
But, and I think this is more in line with our
Kinda
oldie
goofy.
weirdo stuff that we're going to discuss later. But, John, did you post on... Was it you that posted on Facebook about finding the Dragonlance comics?
Yes, I got the whole
Oh yeah,
series.
at Comically Speaking, by the way, this is part of our plug. I do their
I love that
Facebook
place,
page,
just-
and they're at 28 on. This is the actual plugs where we don't say Comically Speaking causes AIDS or causes diphtheria or anything like that.
Cause it's good times.
And good times in your loins. But yeah, it's on 28 in Reading, Massachusetts. It's Comically Speaking. Check them out on Facebook and online, comicallyspeaking.com. But that's yeah. What was it? He posted. Oh,
well,
that's
yeah,
where he found them, yeah.
Dragonlance. And you found the whole series?
It's my favorite book. It's like one of my favorite book series ever. Like the actual books from the 80s. It's just really great fantasy.
Were you a fan as a kid when they were current?
No, I didn't get into them until I was in high school. I didn't really know they existed, but I fucking love them. They're like the best as far as fantasy books go. They're just some of the best ever because it's actual Dungeons and Dragons. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons world. It's TSR
Okay,
Wizards of the
TSR.
Coast, so it's like it's actual D&D spells and rules and classes and monsters. So it makes it that much better. And like the people who write it, the stories are fantastic and the character development's awesome. And so when I came across those comics, I just had to buy them.
They have a
had
lot.
to.
They legit, and not just to plug the store, but they legit have a great 50-cent bin. It's more modern too. It's like the last 10, 50. I mean, even some Bronze Age books
Some
are
good
in
stuff
there.
in there.
Yeah, I've only been there once, but I found some good finds.
Yeah.
But so Dragonlance, because that reminds me of, as recently I was purging my collection of a lot of dead weight because I think 25 long boxes. Carrying that shit around is too tough.
I've got 7, and I think that's a lot. You got 25?
I think I have I have like 20-ish.
I am a fucking rookie nerd, man. That's
well, you've been stockpiling, like as a
I've been stockpiling for about 10 years.
Oh wow!
Over the last few years, there's been a definite cap on purchases because I have so much shit that I haven't read yet. But
I've been out for like 3. I've been out for like 3 or 4 years.
That's a long time. Yeah, like it's weird. Like in the comic world, that's like forever.
But looking through all this stuff, there's some stuff that I had a collection when I was a kid that I got rid of when I was like 20, when I started getting back into comics after not being into them throughout high school. And looking at my collection this week, there's a few things that I hunted down to buy again just out of pure nostalgia. And one was the Death of Superman series. The other one was the Eric Larson Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six.
Those are fucking amazing.
Hold up.
Yeah, that's so good.
The art is great. That was some of my first books too.
Dude, that whole Spider-Man from like 3 fucking...
That Doc Ock is pretty awesome.
Yeah, from like the mid 200s to like the mid to early 300s.
Roger Stern.
It was an amazing run for Spider-Man.
Like in the 80s, Gangland or Gang Wars was a really good thing because that's when it's like it dealt with him just almost Daredevil-esque, which is really his level, his league, like Daredevil-esque type of, like he's like a couple levels above Daredevil as far as strength and or whatever powers or whatever.
Well, our Marvel cards aren't here to confirm, but I'll take your word for it.
Daredevil didn't have super strength.
No, but what I'm saying is like Spider-Man is just he's in that league of superhero.
Street level.
Street level, yeah.
Street
level. That was
but
me doing that crisscross.
If he has to. That's what's cool about him.
He's versatile.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, we need you to come help save the universe. I can't. I'm stopping a mugger.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think he dabbles with all these other. I mean, I guess like they don't use his like agility and speed as the way it really should because he's kind of, he can dodge bullets. So I mean, it's kind of ridiculous in its own right. So I mean.
Well, that was one of my favorite things about like one of the Eric Larson books was like one of my favorite memories of that was him like just sitting like he was like all webbed up eating like donuts. Yeah. And like some mugger just shows up out of nowhere with a knife, and he just zips down to him, and he grabs the tip of the knife, and he just flicks the knife apart. He just breaks the knife by flicking. He's like, "Dude, come on, just trying to eat some donuts." It's fucking awesome. He's so badass.
When I was a kid, I remember that storyline specifically. We had an issue in like home ec class because they made us take both home ec and woodshop. I didn't choose to take home ec.
Let's know, like, if you're going to build a table, how many cupcakes you can make while you're on the table is being built.
Yeah, I remember that was being the obvious choker in the class. I had to ask the woman, obviously, who was teaching home ec. Obviously.
What's her place?
Well, I had to ask her, how many times do you think she eats out a week? And it was, obviously, being in, like, 7th grade, that's the big joke. And also was a serious question, so how many times should I eat pussy a week? And that's, she didn't like the wording, but it's the basic same thing. But go on, I'm sorry. You had a comic book in home ec.
And it was one of those Eric Larson issues where, oh my god, you knew the shit was hitting the fan because he got beat up and his suit is ripped.
Yes.
And his eye, which is always a question of whether that's like fabric or glass, it was shattered. Oh, so okay, it's glass. So that's it. I was hung up on that, but reading it as an adult after like getting these issues again and reading it, besides the obvious phony baloney forced shoehorned characters appearing
like Deathlock and
it was like a who's who of early 90s new characters. We got the new Deathlock. We got the new Ghost Rider. We got this new character. Solo.
Yeah.
That is my life him.
Does he teleport?
Oh, right! I just thought he was like a Punisher, but on like an international scale.
Well, he's like a mutant.
Teleport.
He's a mutant. He's from the...
Not to be confused with Solo Mario Van Peebles.
Peebles Solo, no. No, I can
or
confuse
the
that.
plastic cups.
Oh, no, that's...
I
think that's Goodheart, or what was it? Sweetheart, there we go.
But, and there's a scene where just this domestic scene of Peter Parker shaving and talking to Mary Jane, and about how because she's like
He's a model.
she's hip.
Yeah.
She's done. You know, she likes the cutting edge music, and she's all excited. She just scored a pair of tickets for Fine Young Cannibals.
Oh!
And she's all excited, and Peter's like sitting there shaving, and he's not he's not impressed. And
well,
he was talking about the kind of music he likes is stuff like Elvis Costello and Tom Petty. It's kind of cool, like that. Much like now, this is a tangent and a half, but much like the joke of the band Cheap Trick, where there's two dweebs and two cool guys. 30 years after the fact, the cool guys aren't very cool, but the dweebs, that's kind of timeless and works wherever.
Yeah.
But Peter being a dweeb because he likes Elvis Costello and Tom Petty, as opposed to her being cool.
Yeah, reversals, yeah.
Fine Young Cannibals? Are you kidding me? No.
Well, no, just like the tale, like as Brian Michael Bendis will put it, like Dazzler was the #1 selling comic book in like 1987 or something, and I was like, and no, it's definitely the 80s were a weird time, or just any sort of musical force, like band in there. Really, Fine Young Cannibals?
Fine Young. I think I should have.
Dude, was it? Dude.
She drives me.
There's that, but there's the other one. Dude. And just like oh damn, yeah, I'm not good at
You have
music.
iTunes on there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna gussy this up with some Fine
Yeah,
Young Cannibal.
Fine Young Cannibals deserves no plug.
Oh shit! Erase that.
Yeah. No, all right, yeah, no. That's a good segue. One of the things Mike and I talked about, I don't know if you keep your comics anymore. Do you have any?
Oh yeah, I keep
Oh,
them. I still have like my boxes and.
Oh damn, I didn't know that.
Like what happened is like I used to have a ton of comics when I lived down south. When I was a kid, I lived in Georgia, and then I moved up here like.
Georgia,
like Russia. Obviously.
Russia, yeah.
But no, I kind of moved up here spontaneously, and I lost all my stuff, so I've had to rebuild my collection over the years and stuff. But, yeah, it's just I still have them, but I don't have as many.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. We have a pretty decent collection.
Though. Like 7 boxes is thousands.
You know, it's about 330 per. Or it all depends if they're bagged and board. It depends how they're put there. But there's like roughly 300 to 350 per box, I think. Long box. Short box is like 175 or 150 or something. But this is the Sock Talk. You was about how to put your comic books together. And now.
Bags and boards. Protect them from the acidity of your fingertips.
Every time I deal with bags and boards, which it's a rarity, but I like to keep some of the older ones in bags and boards. But every time I deal with one, I just hold my head hangs in shame. Like I'm 30 and I'm doing this. Why?
Well, we had the same conversation about like, oh, I showed you I have action figures still. I'm a man. But no, it's just kind of like I bought toys for my niece and nephews, and then there's an Iron Man figure there, and I'm like, just have it under my arm, and guys are looking like I'm like, oh, where are the? And I have to cover it up by, where are the stuffed animals aisle? I'm going to a birthday party for my nephew.
Fuck that, just accept it. Embrace it.
No, why? No, I think
I'm a fucking giant like 27 by 4. It's like a legit movie theater size poster of Spider-Man #1 hanging over my bed.
That's fine, but listen, I think
I'll fuck a girl on my bed with that just over my head, just looking at it.
Sure.
What the fuck
well, I think to have a level of shame is good.
Well, the shame isn't on me though. The shame is probably on her. She sees it. What the fuck am I doing?
If you when you ejaculate on her, you go thwip, then that is something you could. That would be.
I will do that. That's a good idea.
Or pew pew.
The David Tell bit if you like about the David Tell bit of this woman screaming names and then it never existed. Fuck me, yoga.
Yoga. Spider-Man. Oh, dude, Papa Smurf. Is she crazy? Like it says on her bracelet?
Or is she just looking at my sheets?
I don't know. No, it's yeah.
Thank you, David Tell. Oh my god.
I'm going to see. He's got a show coming up. You know, is this where you're heading into?
Oh no, he has a good story. You have a decent story.
My David Tell story ties into my amazing Gallagher story, but I am not getting that to be continued.
Why? After that. Okay, all right. Sorry, we got time. All right. So Mike and I talked about comic books and just like getting. I didn't actually have the chance this week to get the crazy titles up, but Mike, I got a couple that I enjoy. But Mike did us the humongous favor. I think we all can appreciate, and John actually can chime in this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got some fine selection of stuff here.
And Mike, if you can go through, actually, you were reading at the beginning. I don't know if it'll be in the top of the show, but go ahead.
my mic check / recital of Married with Children #4.
By Now Comics.
So this selection that I grabbed from my my hefty collection of comics is some of the stranger gems that I keep in there. And I was a little disappointed in myself that most of them are tie-ins. Most of the good ones are weird tie-ins. And Married with Children is one of the first ones. It's exactly what it is. It's a comic book adaptation of the Fox television show.
For those of you who didn't get it, or no, for the kid audience who doesn't want to have sex with their wives.
Right. Yeah. One thing, leafing through these pages, I was reminded. The comic, it's got a photo cover. The cover is actually, what's his name? Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy standing there. And there's a picture of his family in the corner, the Bundys. Okay, so which is crazy expensive, I think, for
what
photo covers of comics. It was like
you have to pay
in the early '80s. Well, it was like a gimmick.
Yeah, but I could probably say they probably just grabbed all this stuff when they got the licensing rights for it from Fox from promotional photos they already had.
But the actual production cost of a photo cover, I think, might be
sure, but I don't think they did it. What I'm saying is I think they grabbed the photos that are already taken for promotional that like Fox had already done.
No, I'm talking about not production of the photos, but the printing of the comic. It might be more expensive. But actually, this has a cover price of $1.75,
which was pretty high. And was that like 90s?
This is.
I got that Marvel Comics app, and like a lot of the stuff I buy on is only like $1.99. So
it's actually not. I mean, some comics are $2.99 or $3.99. It all depends.
Well, this is September of '90, and it's a regular comic for $1.75, which I think back then was probably 75 above average Marvel.
It was like $1. Because you have 75 cents on that one. On that other one.
That's sorry. But so Married with Children, and you open it up, and it's illustrated, and it's illustrated in a real cartoony style, so it's kind of indistinguishable from The Simpsons, except they're not yellow. You know, that's kind of...
there's
some
racial overtones.
It's some nonsense about Al being a... boxer, I don't know, but it reminded me of
bring it back around
of how it always blew my mind being like a 10-year-old boy. Al Bundy complaining about his wife wanting to fuck him, and I never got the actual like joke of the show being, no, married life is horrible. I mean, I'm not speaking for Phil here at all, being the only married. You're not married.
No, but I'm single and I don't get laid, so...
Yeah. Well, you get laid.
What's that?
You know what I'm saying?
But you don't deny it.
Pound it. I was going to pound it, but he totally fully downturned
I could use that hand to jerk off with later.
That's what I meant by pounding.
Oh, okay.
Beat it like it broke in your house, as Brian Posehn would say.
But the joke of being in this marriage where you don't want to fuck your wife, and that's it for the rest of your life.
And also, like, there was a great episode, I think we're all in agreement that we enjoyed the TV show. One of the great moments, when he had these opportunities to have sex with other women, he also had the morale to be like, I can't do it. And, I remember one of the best lines he ever said, it was the title line of the show. He's like, I can't, I'm married with children. And that's such yeah, but it's also, like, the great, because that's the fucking dagger.
He would always kind of, like, go home and just kind of, like, begrudgingly go home and fuck his wife.
Yeah, well, in that episode, he made her put on a blonde wig, and had sex with her.
Wow.
Yeah. It's dark enough.
Yeah.
But, he does the moral minimum, I guess, would be the...
moral minimum.
For that, like, not to...
Which is admirable in this day and age.
For that, if you're married, it's not like, I guess the moral minimum would be, like, sex chat and then not virtually touching. We're looking for it.
It's the 21st century. The rules have yet to be defined for a modern marriage.
AshleyMadison.com. But moving on to...
okay,
so there's Married with Children. The next one I have is...
I'm particularly interested in this one.
From September. There's some more of my nonsense anecdotes coming up with this Madballs. Okay, so that's it. This is September of '86. This was from Marvel Comics, Star Comics imprint, where it was
keep talking. I'll be right back.
It was their kid comics, which also produced Peter Porker's Spider-Man, which is a great comic.
For those of you who don't remember, though, Mad Balls were like a they weren't like an action figure because it was just a ball, but they were monsters. It was various monsters that were like balls, and you would play with them as a kid. You just kind of play catch with them, but they were creatures.
Yeah, they were like the size of like a softball. I think the first version of Mad Balls was just balls, just big like softballs. But you know, one's a mummy, most of them look like Frankenstein. One's a big eyeball.
Yeah, those things were cool.
I think. Then there was a second version of them where they actually were action figures, and they were tinier, and go ahead.
So just brought me back some water that looks like it was roofied, or there's a serious problem with the North Reading water supply. That is some
bubbles,
foamy
tiny
water.
Bubbles.
Yeah, tiny bubbles.
But I think Mad Balls. When I was a kid, I think I confused mad in the sense of being angry, but I think they actually mean, you know, crazy. Mad
condition, like
yeah,
the balls.
yeah.
When you get blue balls,
They're
you get
shiny. Whoa.
But there's they have the origin story of a truck driver swerving to not hit a cat, and all the rubber balls in the back fall into some radioactive waste.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like a human turned into him.
No, they're actually it's life brought from lifelessness, so it's kind of philosophical.
What was once never.
But I remember there's a character, one of the weird Frankenstein-looking angry balls is.
I'm sorry. I thought they were mad. They're not angry.
His name is Arg, and it's spelled like A-A, let's see, A-A-R-G-H.
Yeah.
And I had this comic before I could read.
Let me see that page again. Well, the kid playing baseball was like a Charlie Chan type of...
Oh my god.
It really is. It's a Charlie Chan-esque like character.
Not very sophisticated drawing.
No, it's very Asian.
Balls, #1.
But very Japanese internment camp. Well,
it's not racially sensitive.
Well,
that one's.
Oh, jeez. Which one?
Was
that it? Oh, wow, that's even worse. If he's like a nerd, or if he is in fact.
If I was a ball, I'd be angry too.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my cousin was babysitting me, and I had this, and it's odd that something I coveted when I was 5, I'm coveting now as a 31-year-old.
You get a lot of mileage out of it.
His name is Arg, A-A-R-G-H.
Your cousin? Or? No, sorry.
Well, my cousin is an angry testicle. But
I think when I was like 11 or 12, one of my first masturbation sessions was to a Marvel Comics swimsuit issue.
Oh, like the old
Jim Lee
Psylocke?
or something?
Yeah.
Oh, with like Jim Lee holding up? Like a pin. It's a picture of him holding up.
That's a deep, dirty secret.
Yeah.
Really
Well, I was thinking about that today. Like, I never
No,
got
it's out
into the pinup stuff. Like, because I remember a buddy of mine.
There's a lot
He
of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of like. Sometimes they were crazily like out of whack anatomically, but sometimes when you get a Joe Jusko, do like Vampirella, gets my blood going.
Or Rob
She can
Liefeld,
suck
where
it.
Looks like someone has scoliosis.
Well, one of mine now. Here's an interesting segue. Okay, I'm going to put the Mad Balls down.
All right.
Oh well,
we're gonna mic a little bit.
Actually, I wasn't able to read.
I gotta gap that up. Hold on.
I wasn't
Just
able
hold
to
on.
read, and I asked my cousin what that character's name was. And he got up in my face and went, "Arg!" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, quit fucking around. What's the character's name?" Arg! It's like, why is he not telling me the name?
Oh, you're blowing out, my friend. You're Argan.
Arg! But early masturbation stories.
As they get the tape ready.
As we talk about angry testicles and get the tape ready. One thing that everyone I've told has found awfully hilarious, but they know exactly what I'm talking about. Do you remember the music video for the theme song from Friends?
Oh, those guys they're actually in the fountain for the music video, aren't they?
I think so, but there's a scene with Courtney Cox playing drums.
Okay.
And then there was some jiggle. And I think it was cold in that studio. And there was some appeal to my... That was later. That was like 13 or 14.
I also jerked off to the Salt and Pepper Shoots video.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yes.
That's obvious.
That's what they're trying.
They were in the tub. Like, isn't there like a weird silhouette?
No, I was fortunate enough to have real porno. And when we're...
From the Journeys.
From the... Well, no, that was later in life. My brother and also like my grandfather. You've seen my grandfather.
Oh yeah, the flying fucks. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, not that my grandfather. Like he's going crazy because
porno from your grandfather. I think that's an unconventional porno source.
or just a phrase that anyone would say. Porno from my grandfather, or just like porno of my grandfather, and just like the old John Barrymore days. Or for all you cinephiles out there.
Grandpa's porno.
Well, no, and it's very bizarre because John actually has seen you saw most of it before I did.
Yeah.
And one of them...
My pussy's so hot I can boil an egg.
And she boils an egg in it.
Egg
falls out of her vagina.
Like a cartoon?
No, this is an actual thing. Actually, it's kind of hot for me because it's like 70s porn. I like 70s porn just because it's shot on film. And a lot of that I was able to...
Yes, I agree. But
no,
wait, boiling an egg...
Well, it's just like she's on the phone, she's having phone sex, and the phone is actually licking her vagina, I think, at one point. Remember, there's like a weird tongue that comes out of it?
There's one thing I've noticed about 70s porno. There is a lot of surrealism in a lot of 70s porno.
They take it very seriously in a very fun way.
I've tried to go retro lately. Like, I've been just getting, trying to spice up my jerking off life a little bit. Yeah. And I'm trying to get back into retro porn. And it's tough because it's weird. It's more about an incoherent story than it is about the actual acts of sex. So like the sex is very poor in those movies. Like
well, in what way? I mean, it's just not.
Well, like it doesn't really make any sense. It's like
what do you mean? Just like they're going
ass
to ass.
It's like they're trying to.
They're just like nothing's connecting.
Yeah, he's trying to jump over, but he can't make it. But it's like it'll be like some girl.
Well, what are you watching? I guess is what my question. Like what I think
I can see someone boiling an egg with a pussy being not very sexy.
Well, you'd be surprised. They pull it off. They make it. It's the lead up to it. And he ejaculates over the phone, and the ejaculate comes over the phone too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that right before you drank water because it was the spit take.
That sounds like something out of Looney Tunes. Like
no, it really is. It's really like
what the fuck's the trapeze artist?
Yes, she gets
sex in midair.
Yeah, and she gets on a dick bicycle. Yeah, dildo machine.
Isn't that Robin's parents?
Yeah, the Gracelands, right?
Oh,
they fall cock to cock. They weren't
actually?
Robins. They were. She makes it in Hollywood, I think. She made it in Hollywood, I think. I think so because she's trying to get her start, obviously. Well, I mean, yeah, that was my. John's gonna search it up.
Here's another tangent.
Oh, go ahead.
She made it in Hollywood.
I think that's the name.
Back in college, Phil would claim to have seen a
picture of Fran Drescher in a Is that what you're talking about?
I've seen that.
Well,
she claims not to.
She was in a movie where she showed her tits, but
back in college, Phil claimed
Are you gonna
to have seen pornos, and when I hear porno, I think motion picture.
No, she's supposed to be in it's a still from.
Oh,
something with
Fran
Seika
Drescher from a porno
with Seika,
also
or Seika.
Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand was in a porn.
Yes,
she was.
I've seen it. Yeah,
and my buddy Jeff and your buddy Jeff O'Brien.
She gets blasted in the face with a lot of cum.
Really?
Yeah,
I forget that part. I mean, it's black and white, and she's been writing. She rides that thing like there's no tomorrow.
Was it John Barrymore?
No, he was behind the camera this time, which was the first. He was behind the cameraman. But what happens is, no, it's a black and white. It's like mid to late 60s, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, Jeff had a copy of it.
Mid to late 60s?
Or mid 60s, I don't know.
Mid 60s with
It was before it was black and white and it wasn't with sound, so she had...
But wait, this isn't Fran Drescher.
This is Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand. But she was like a Hollywood star in the
in the late 60s, I think. With like George Segal. It was before, it was close enough.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact... From the look of the porno, is my carbon dating for porno. Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's the Fran Drescher stuff. I don't know if that's exactly true. It looked like it was her in it.
It's one of my many Fox Mulder
conspiracy.
No, I want to believe.
No, yeah, and my buddy, my old buddy's Aaron from high school. He was like, that was our. I can't even hear.
What, who puked everywhere?
No, what?
Never mind.
No, that's another one. It's another college story.
Hold on, guys. Jeff, what's happening? You're on the podcast right now.
Hold on.
I know you're working. I have a quick 2-second question.
Hold on. Don't.
The name of that. What was the name of that porno that Jeff's grandfather had with the trapeze artists and stuff?
It happened in Hollywood.
All right,
thank you, Jeff.
Right.
Thank you.
Past tense.
Well, it's looking back. It's like a shining beacon. It's like I think it begins with
age of Hollywood.
Opening up a book. An old man. It happened in Hollywood. It can happen to you. So it's actually.
But wait, is that the one with the phone squirts?
Yes. The phone. Well, the phone doesn't have the. Well, I guess it has a bit of the squirts.
I gotta find that.
We'll find it. We'll get it. But what was it? You and I were talking. Numerous times you've asked me, like...
I just want to say, good old xhamster.com.
Yes.
Yeah,
well,
they have the full...
full movies.
All the 70 minutes of it.
So, I'll give a plug for X-Hamster. Why not? Genuine. It's got some good old fucking films. xhamster.com. You got that right.
Some of my best beating off here.
Yeah. I think that's a quote on most of my best beating off. But I think everyone's going to their phones looking for X-Hamster. But...
Well, and... I don't think they would advertise themselves as a way to beat off because all the ads say, "Put your dick down now and fuck women. We have more."
But I need my dick. Men. I need my dick to fuck women. Put it. No. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like you can call them now or do. Yeah.
These girls are hot for you.
There's a great. Hold on. I'm going to turn this. See if you can see this. I'm going to try to turn this around. But there's a great still I got from one of those sites. It's pretty. It's just amazing. Hold on, let's see. It's a screen capture, and it's just like.
John, is that it happened in Hollywood?
He's jerking off onto the phone right now.
Oh, you found it already? Oh yeah. Well, that's what happens when she gets polished.
Wait. So one side of the phone is a girl playing with herself, and the other side of the phone is a dude getting blown.
But that's his secretary blowing. He's the casting agent, I think.
There's the bike.
Oh, the bike.
I'm just fucking.
Oh, is that the full movie?
Yeah,
I'll have to go home.
70 minutes of it.
Oh my god.
Pretty good quality too.
Yeah, it's pretty good on your phone. Actually, I've learned to masturbate on my phone. Well, not masturbate sitting on my phone, but watching.
Yeah, there's the dick bike.
Is this not enough for people listening to the podcast?
I'm listening.
Yeah. I mean, in general, people are going to say, I want to hear more about their phone masturbation.
Oh.
What is that?
Folks at home, it happened one night.
No, it happened one night was...
Got some beats.
I think Matthew Broderick? No.
No, isn't that,
Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's where the kid he is lucky enough because he knows the dad.
Let's not spoil it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happened in Hollywood, folks.
Actually, that is a funny, actually watching the story of that actually is fun while masturbating because you're learning, too. You get the insides of Hollywood, and you get...
how you want to make it.
Yeah. Well, it is actually it's pretty funny. Hold on. Oh, I think I might have it. Oh, hold on. This is a screenshot from, Can you see that?
Money, yeah, that's true. Oh,
What is that from?
It was from X Hamsters. It was or X Video, one of them.
This is a fucking shit show right now.
What? Or just like porno? Or just the filth? What else?
There's actually zero visuals for anybody listening.
No, but it just...
Use your imagination.
It is a GIF or not a GIF, it's just something, screen capture of a guy looking kind of intent, like he's looking off to the side as a woman's like, secretarial style is getting... having sex, doggy style, and it says to the right of the people having sex, with money in the background. Money equals pussy, but equal sign is below money and pussy, so it could be a weird, railroad track in between.
Is that like a legitimate mathematical equation?
I think it was in Oxford. This was an Oxford study, a Bainbridge scholar. Money equal...
let's forget about M theory. Let's just throw that out the window. Money equals... pussy. You're brilliant.
Yeah, I think Kissinger. I don't want to alarm anybody, but I think money equals pussy. Huh. Thank you. Bomb
Give that man tenure.
Get that man some money. Yeah,
Or pussy.
Or pussy. Yeah, they're
Commodities.
equal. Yeah, exactly. It's like the pussy trade is actually up, but the interest rate on pussy is what in fact sells it.
As we talked before about the crazy versus
The crazy versus mad, or no, crazy versus emotional. No, I'm losing
you
it.
pay for it later on.
You gotta pay to play. You know what I'm
And
saying?
if you don't
It's true.
use it, you lose it.
That's true. As we were
So-
talking with Margaret Thatcher, the illustrious former Prime Minister of England, or the porno star who emulates the former Prime Minister. Which, how come they haven't come up with? They should have a porno called Margaret Thatcher if they don't already.
Well, Margaret Thatcher is pretty hideous, so I don't want to think about her when I'm...
Well, Palin's not kind of okay, but I mean,
Nailing Palin.
yes.
When the Russians' tanks break down and they need
And
to
what's his
use
name?
their phone to call the Kremlin. That's an actual thing.
Yeah,
Nailing
and
Palin.
Jada Fire plays
Still haven't seen it.
not
Let me go.
Michelle
I've
Obama.
just
She
seen
plays
clips.
Jada Fire, African American porno actress. She plays
Condi?
Condoleezza Rice. Yes, thank you, Condi. To Mike knows her from the Hamptons. Yeah, had relations with her. My God. All right, yeah. Did we finish the rest of those comics? I'm sorry. Or did we go on the after Mad Balls?
yeah.
Did we go into
Yeah, it
fucking?
we were starting on some tangents here.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry.
The next, I think I'm going to skip. I have some more mainstream stuff that we'll maybe get to later, but next to the after Marvel's
Just to sum it up, we've been through Mad Balls.
Mad Balls and Married with Children,
Married with
two
Children.
tie-ins. Now,
Yeah.
now switching to Marvel's New Universe imprint, which, as we all know, was kind of an attempt at Ultimate Comics, but like 20 years before.
Same thing with Heroes Reborn, or Heroes Reborn. That kind of was like the Ultimate version.
Right. But New Universe being similar to Ultimate in that it's a completely new line with no former continuity.
Oh, okay.
Selling to people at, you don't need to, this is brand new. And
Well, that
it's
was
more
Heroes-
realistic.
Oh, all right.
Are they
You know.
doing that? Are they doing that like a lot right now? Because
Yeah.
I'm kind of
The Ultimate version is still there, kind of, but
Well,
it's
they
been.
always try
what
to
is
do
like
it
what's
because
Ultimate Avengers? Isn't there like an Ultimate Avengers? Is fucking
it's
New
become,
Avengers? What the fuck's going
It's
on?
become as convoluted
As they
as
tried to
what they were
avoid.
trying to avoid. But
Yeah.
but with
They blew it up
realism,
and- yeah,
throwing
it's like
realism out of the window for this particular New Universe tale, we have Kickers Incorporated,
Kickers Inc.
which
Or
is it's incorporated is INC with a period, which of course, I just want to call it Kickers Stink.
whoa,
Whoa!
soundbite.
So it's about a team of football players who gain superpowers.
That would be terrible.
And that's about that. I mean, I think I've read it years ago.
Is it like Super Pro? Which I tried to get Super Pro.
Yeah.
It's Mutant Football League, the comic book.
Actually, I think they might have had a comic book.
Probably did.
And Super Chew on the back, I think. Oh, no, Skittles. Oh, I'm sorry.
Skittles and Starburst.
When you think bone-crushing good time, you think Skittles. Or your rainbow taste.
And the team behind this being Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends, who had
weird.
success with Thor and
Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four, and what was the...
Tom DeFalco did
Spider-Girl.
Spider-Man. Oh, yeah, Spider-Girl. Tom
Yep.
DeFalco, which actually was one of the best Spider-Man storylines if you ever get to pick it up. It's actually the Universe M2. M squared. We get into it.
So I
It's
don't
Marvel
know.
times it so.
I don't know if this super-powered football team was thrown on them. Like, we got an idea for a team, or like they really wanted to do it. Fuck, man, I got this idea, and I'm 100% behind it. For a football team that gets powers. Okay, so they fight crime. Well, kind of. Do they
Crash?
do they still play football?
Well, European football. We're not talking about. We're not talking
They
about
eat
American.
each other in the-
A rugby team that finds the original rugby team and they have to eat them and then regurgitate their powers.
You know what I recently read that's one of the best comic books I've ever read? It was only a 4-issue series. It was
Joanna
that
Man
Silver
retold.
Wait, what?
Joanna Man retold. I'm sorry.
No,
It was,
I
It was a
want.
Silver Surfer book called The Silver Surfer Requiem,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
it
a
was
good one.
legitimately one of the best things I've ever read. Like,
The hit or miss, J. Michael Straczynski.
he really is hit or miss too.
But was it Isad Rabik did the art?
I think you're
Was it
right.
painted or did
It
he
is
do the
painted.
covers?
Yeah, it's painted.
Yeah.
So the art's fantastic.
And the eyes are amazing, like his they're daggers, and also the.
And didn't he do that same what isn't that Marvel was it a Marvel Knights?
Oh, yes, it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
And but there was a period of time where they were putting all these miniseries out with the same cover design, like they'd have the black bars, the black
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, the
vertical
black,
bars,
yep.
and then centered
Under
would
the
be
same
painted-
type of
yeah.
moniker, yeah.
And there was that, and it was the same art that was the Submariner one, the Peter
Oh,
Milligan
yeah.
Submariner.
How was that one?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, here's the weird thing was like, I kind of stuck to like I had like heroes that I liked, and that's really all I would read. So it hasn't become until recently that I started to pick up on like newer stuff that I probably should have been reading because it was cool. Like I dabbled in Silver Surfer a little because like Infinity Gauntlet's one of my favorite fucking books ever, and like
Which might be in the new Avengers movie at the end.
That's true. I'm like I can't
Which-
handle that. I can't handle that.
We'll get
concept.
into that
Yeah.
after.
The new fucking Avengers trailer, like that literally.
We gotta get.
couldn't handle
All
that.
right, we gotta.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
But stuff like Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer would show up to beat the crap out of Thanos, and like so it's like I'd be like, oh, he's pretty cool. Like who's that guy? But like, and I had a few issues here and there of Silver Surfer, but like things like Thor. I never realized how badass Thor was until I watched the Hulk versus cartoon. Like that's the first time I ever really wanted to care about Thor because I was like, that dude's fucking going toe to toe with a Hulk. It's like, that's pretty badass.
Well, the
Like,
Kirby stuff. I mean, yeah, you liked a lot of the Kirby, but you liked a lot of the Walt Simonson stuff too, right? Mike?
The Walt Simonson Thor is I never really cared for Thor until I read his stuff. It's good.
And if you like a good Hulk versus Thor, like early like Kirby stuff, like I forget what issue it was, but I think it was Burn on the Bad Guys or no. Oh, Best Marvel Stories. Like a trade back in the early 90s, late 80s of Best Marvel Stories. And one of them, I think the first one in there is Journey into Mystery with Thor talks to a group of people, like of guys and kids like on the street, and Kirby so, hey, yeah, the Thor's the best. No, Hulk will whoop him any day. And yeah, it's like that kind of language. And then Thor comes down. It's like, whoa, guys, settle down. I'll tell you a tale of when the Green Goliath and I fought.
I think that's why I have such a problem with like some of the cheese factor of the older books doesn't do as good a job of like getting across. I think that
No,
that
it
was my
did.
problem
It
with
really did, though. Like the actual art and actual story of them, like 'cause it takes place during when Avengers number 3 or 2, like when the Hulk sides with the Submariner. Like I think it's like 3, right before they find Cap, or maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
And like it because it's awesome because that's the first time I can't really cite this as truth, but this seems like one of the first times they. Like, oh, we could definitely take like these little side stories within the story we just told and just expand it and just use it. And it was pretty awesome. So it was like an offshoot of that comic, because I think in the comic Thor and Hulk like just get thrown into like debris into like the other side of a mountain, and it's kind of then it's them like trying to get out. So it's pretty fun.
That's cool.
And it's Kirby art, so it's kind of like
I like I think
it's gonna blast your boner.
I know you probably have like examples of how I'm probably wrong because.
Oh yeah, I got 'em. I got written here.
But like Hulk versus to me was amazing because like I never really gave a shit about Hulk and I never gave a shit about.
You
Thor.
never really gave a shit about Hulk.
No, like I never really read it. I was like, he gets mad and he gets angry and he turns green. But like I never really fully understood like
In
what
that order.
problem he was because like in the Hulk versus like they did such a good job of showcasing like what a legitimate, not fun thing that would be for him to be rampaging because he's just unstoppable and like he's going up against gods. These people are gods and they're terrified that he's loose in their plane of reality because he's just he won't stop until he destroys everything.
And even a more real world kind of example. I don't know if you ever read this, Mike, but Banner by Brian
I want to
Azzarello.
read that so
Oh,
bad. Is
yeah.
that good? Is
Yeah.
that good?
Oh, it's like the opening's amazing because it's him, and I think it's what's his name?
It's a
the art.
miniseries, right?
Yes, it's like 3 or
It's
4.
Richard Corbin.
Corbin, yes, who
Yeah.
I don't know what you're feeling, but
I like. Yeah,
and I forgot that he was like a '70s like EC Comics guy too originally,
I love EC
and he did
Comics.
the original Swamp Thing with Bernie Wrightson, or no, he took over after Wrightson, I think, or did he?
Bernie
Wrightson
Wrightson
was
did it. I don't think
the original.
Corbin did the. I don't think Corbin did any Swamp Thing until the
Oh.
21st century.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't think.
No, you're
Yeah,
probably
Bernie
right. I think you're
Wrightson
right.
Did the
First Swamp Thing,
series.
yeah, and he created him, I think,
Wrightson and Lermoyne, yeah.
and then Alan Moore took over, I think.
Well, there was a series after them.
Ah, all right.
There was 19 issues of a second volume before Alan Moore took over.
But yeah, but Banner was Azzarello, Brian Azzarello from 100 Bullets and other like crime like comic stuff, and Richard Corbin, who's one of the grittier, like, and I guess you might not like the term, but it is kind of a grittier, darker. His shades are awesome. Like the definition, whoever inks with him is great. But he's really awesome at showing like terrifying images. And the opening of it is Bruce Banner holding a gun to his mouth and about to. And thinking like I don't think he can kill himself because he tries to pull the trigger and then he turns into the Hulk before it gets to his brain, or the bullet gets to his brain and then he kind of hulks out and it because he demolished a city and he's just crying there kind of with a gun in his mouth over it. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's not when you get down to like yay Hulk. It's just like when he gets angry and he has nothing he can do to stop it. It's just kind of like cities are leveled.
Yeah.
And just
Well,
kind of,
I never liked that interpretation of the Hulk because
it's a Max issue.
Because well, right, but when that's kind of like the knee jerk. Well, he's a monster, so. I do like the.
I think there's an aspect of that's fun.
In the regular or in the mind of like Kirby and Lee back in the day, and even the more mainstream Marvel, his association with other heroes and stuff. There's always the threat of that, and Banner's fear that he's going to become that and snap and actually kill people, but. I like the drama of, no, it doesn't happen, and he does stay in touch with himself, and being the Hulk, Banner thinks the Hulk is probably bad news to begin with in any capacity, but there is times when he's the Hulk when it's like, no, this is me getting stuff out of my system that needs, to get out of my system and actually fight the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I end up actually doing something good when I'm the Hulk.
Like union busting.
Well, one of my questions is, like,
you don't remember that issue?
Is concerned is,
I'm sorry, that was not real.
How is he like coherent enough to as far as I'm concerned, from what I know of the Hulk, when he fucking loses his shit, he's like inconsolable. He's just out of his mind until whatever is in his way is fucking destroyed. So
the original Hulk wasn't like that.
I know there's different color Hulks, but like, is there some? I'm guessing in the movie they found some way for him to control it or something. But
no,
I mean, how does he fight alongside a team if he's fucking unstoppable and uses everything as a threat?
In the original Avengers 1,
even before
he's just a misanthropic like hermit, and he's articulate. He can speak,
really?
And
yeah, the original.
He's not a rage monster. Like the rage monster kind of came in later.
He's a Jekyll and Hyde. That's exactly what it is. Like Hyde's the monster, right?
Yes.
He's just kind of like in. He hates his puny Banner was the thing because he thought he was a emasculated scientist.
He was a milksop.
Yeah.
Which is what Elvis was. No, Thunderbolt Rod.
Thunderbolt Rod, yeah.
You're a milksop.
Stop fucking around. And fucking my daughter. Betty or Thunderbolt. I wonder if she was ever called that while someone was inside thunderbolting her.
No, she only had sex with one person, and it was Bruce Banner after they got married.
And the bellhop before. Position. Oh, was that an actual thing? No?
Sure. All those comic companies, like even up in the official position is that these people don't have sex. I know it was controversial when, and I'm not a Teen Titans fan, but in the pages of Wolfman and Perez's Teen Titans, Nightwing and Starfire were a couple. And there's a couple panels in some issue of them in bed together. Yeah. Like talking, not even fucking, but it's like, they're in bed, you can't show that, you can't show that. And then it's like,
I would love to see that, folks. You can't, I can't. Throw down the comic, I don't know.
Like, what the fuck is this? Are you... And I love
this ain't no stroke, man.
I love the idea of executives who make these decisions for comic book companies. And they... fans and stuff would think these... Oh, they're the suits. Fuck these guys, they're the suits. And
I don't really have sex with them.
I feel bad for these guys in a boardroom, like, I'm an executive now. Oh, I'm an executive. I don't know what executives do or how they get there, but whatever, these suit people are there, and it's like, oh, I run Marvel Comics. I know them from the movies and from when I was a kid, but I don't really care. And then it's like, looking at one, like, what the fuck is this? Don't do that. But even though it's
Yeah.
it's business as usual for the comic. Like, wait, these people are in bed. I think the market research says it's not good. Oh, what do I do?
You sound
I'm
you're a
just doing my
very
job.
Bruce McCulloch character right there. What do I?
But then there's the story of an issue of Neil Gaiman's Sandman,
Sandman wasn't bad.
where there was a joke. There was a joke in one of the issues
I already don't like it.
of one of the serial killers in it. There's a joke that there's a serial killer convention, and they're all like at the serial killer convention, and one of the characters makes a masturbation joke, and then they had to edit it out, and they were told from above, people don't masturbate in the DC universe.
But they do have
Fucking hate DC.
serial, but they
DC
have
sucks.
serial murderer conventions.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
okay.
That's being the irony.
Yeah.
And then someone saying, well, maybe if these people masturbated more,
They
they
will.
wouldn't hit each other as much.
Or quite the contrary, they might want to hit each other again because that's what gets them
Gets
off.
them off,
The only
yeah.
good thing DC Comics
That's what gets
has
me
is
off.
fucking Batman. That's it. DC Comics can suck
Well,
a dick.
I don't
Jesus,
know.
Mike is a Johnny DC,
here,
and
but-
I know. Well, that's the thing. I've never. I think there is kind of that. What was it, Berlin Wall of Marvel versus DC? Sometimes I think it's kind of
It's just
been taken down a little bit over time.
the interactions like between the DC characters seem so much more wooden compared to Marvel. You go to the Marvel universe and like everything's tied together and like there's all these amazing how the way the stories like collide with each other. And it's just like one big expansive universe and like each character has like their own specific role in it and there'll be like this weird, cool mutual respect that certain characters will have for each other, or like everyone seems to know about who each other is. And then you go into like DC, and everyone's like, "Oh no, Lex Luthor's at it again!" It's like let's call in Superman, the son of Krypton.
I mean, if the only DC comics you read are from 1965,
Yeah, sure.
but,
maybe it's just my perception of it.
Yeah.
But it's,
Right.
I mean, even
Well, this
nowadays,
is
when I
all
try-
you
when
read
I
off a
read
bar napkin.
Yes.
Someone drawing
Sticks.
Superman.
Jackie
Yeah.
Treehorn.
Let's go get Superman. And just see the word bubble is his ejaculate, obviously, because that's how penises talk.
and then you pick up
Your
the phone
phone.
and it squirts at you.
It came from Hollywood.
Oh,
it out.
I get it. It came from Hollywood. That's where the call came from.
This is what we've been, another Stock Talk moment. But no, I would, to your point of not knowing DC Comics, why?
I just never liked it. Any of the characters, Superman is fucking boring. Superman's boring. He's lame as hell. He's so lame. There's nothing cool about Superman. His powers are amazing, and he sucks. The coolest thing I ever saw was Batman kick the shit out of him in the Dark Knight
Yeah,
Returns.
but if you
Counterpoint.
You've already said you've never read any of the comics, so
I've tried reading Superman. Anytime I've tried reading Superman, and I've gone through different generations of Superman, and every time I pick it up, it's like so something's attacking me. He's going to stop it, and there's no real conflict ever. There's no real character development. It's just a dude who flies around in a red cape. Something happens, I stop it. I'm
Well,
a fucking
what-
Boy
I
Scout
think
with super.
that's like every superhero.
Yeah. Well, what would you recommend, I guess, for a Superman book that would be kind of decent?
Well, that is the thing about, and I do like Superman. I like Superman better than Batman as a character and as a property, but it's way to find a good Batman story is a lot easier to find than finding a good Superman story, and I think it's because his power set and his concept doesn't work well in the shared universe, kind of. So he's always going to be neutered in some way. He's never going to be able to be, his potential in the story where it's like, well, his presence can't change the status quo so much that blah, 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 you can't do these cool things. But with Batman, it's like, well, a guy solving a murder, that's not going to change the world. That's not going to make next week's episode not happen. But so there's a very limited number of Superman comics,
He's skirting the issue.
All-Star Superman.
Okay.
Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow by Alan Moore.
Oh, that's supposed to be very good, actually.
Red Sun by Mark Millar.
Red Sun is pretty awesome. And it has a great, Secret Police... oh, no, he's fighting the Secret Police Batman.
No, Batman
Is he?
isn't the secret police. Batman is a terrorist.
Yeah, his parents got
Parents
killed.
got killed by the.
Is this like an alternate universe?
Yeah, in Russia.
It's what if he landed in the Ukraine?
You ought to know. What if?
And there's Kingdom Come is a good Superman story.
CUM. For all those out there, sorry.
Like the puppets.
Like the puppet. And letting them come, which is another one of...
Let my puppets.
A lot of the recent Jeff Johns stories with Superman have been really good.
Ooh, I haven't really read... I read one or two of his Avengers books, and they were okay. It was like the Red Skull becomes... Is Del Russ, the Secretary of State?
He's more suited for DC Comics, I believe.
He was, in fact, a intern under...
Ooh, Red Skull?
No, under his administration. No, Jeff Johns was an intern under Richard Donner in the 80s.
Assistant.
Yeah, but he...
Richard Donner, Lethal Weapon, Richard Donner?
Yeah, and Superman. 1 and 2. Or did he do 3 as well?
The only Superman I did like the Bryan Singer Superman movie, which I think everyone fucking should eat a dick on that didn't like that.
I think looks good, but it's him versus a giant rock.
It had more character development. It actually made me like Superman from many more. He comes back to Earth. His fucking girl's married. He pretty much forgot about him. He comes back. He's got nothing.
Father.
He's got nothing. He comes back. He's got nothing. And Lex Luthor, when he shivs him with fucking kryptonite and kicks him off the fucking cliff, he's building like a city in the middle of the fucking.
It's
city.
not really as badass as you're building it. Like that whole movement is not. No, it's like
real estate deal.
Yeah,
I used to not like or thought I didn't like the Richard Donner Superman, but having watched it recently, everything minus a few scenes concerning the actual theft of atom bombs, which are really silly, and the really bad, really terrible Deus Ex Machina of him turning back time.
That movie's terrible.
Which is
sorry.
No, I mean the script is great. The Christopher Reeve as Superman kills it. He sells the whole silly Clark Kent Superman.
Gosh.
The scene where he meets Lois is the funniest, most well-written Superman treating Lois like Lois treats Clark thing. It's hilarious. And he's talking about, like, eating her pussy and looking at her underwear, and it's really funny and clever. And there's the first scene where he turns into Superman, and the first person he meets is the pimp.
Oh, that is a bad outfit.
Hey, cuz that's a bad outfit. Woo! Oh, that guy's a pimp.
It's the 70s in Metropolis / New York. That's what I mean. Which, Metropolis is New York and Gotham is Chicago, or was that how it's up and down?
I thought they were both
It's
New York.
nebulous. Like, this is just a
place. Nebula, the one of the heralds of Galactus.
It's from Nebulax.
Oh. The cleaning substance, like...
Nebulax.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a floor polish or a dessert top?
It's both are white, so be prepared.
I just expect a little bit more out of my comic characters, and like I like seeing.
Yeah, I just like touching that. Yeah.
And to me, it's like it should be about like if you're gonna have these people with godlike powers, give them a fucking godlike challenge. I mean.
Oh, I agree. That's why I think Superman Returns is
so
shitty.
Campy. It's just like fucking hanging out at the Daily, not the Daily Bugle. That's
Daily Planet.
The Daily Planet.
Yeah.
The Universal Universe.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not a big fan of Superman either for very same reasons. But I mean, like...
I mean, you get a dude with a fucking glove that can control time and death and space and infinity, and every hero in that universe dies at his hand trying to stop him, and fucking... That's just...
Yeah, and then at the end of the comic, they're all brought back to life, and they forget the whole thing.
Yeah, by Adam Warlock.
But still, like you had another character who like you don't really think about that much at all. Like Adam Warlock comes out and just it's like, oh yeah, I am a badass. Here's why, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's even cooler that someone.
Well,
like
Adam Warlock, to people who don't know, he's part of the Infinity Watch, which is part punk band, part. But oh man, no, he was in the comic.
For people like Uatu, I always loved it when the Watcher would show up because it's like. Whenever, it would definitely be cooler than, like, when some superheroes are just hanging out and, like, something shitty's going down, and the Watcher just show up and everyone's like, oh, fuck. That sucks. That's not
but the Watcher is a character that everything beyond his first appearances in the Fantastic Four, it's like, yeah, the whole thing of you not getting involved. You've done it like a million times. It's really dumb.
I've heard who's played with that a couple of times, like either Zeb Wells. I know Garth Ennis has played with it in The Pro, a good comic book called The Pro, where
The Pro
the
is
Voyeur.
amazing.
The Voyeur is the name of the character who's supposed to be the Watcher. And even Twisted Mecha Toy Fair theaters.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best written Spider-Man I've ever seen. In Twisted Mecha Toy Fair from the guys who do Robot Chicken now, pretty much Tom Root and all those guys, and Matt Senreich. Yeah, I want to get back to. So we got all these tangents about DC and Marvel. Just a brief kind of overlay of.
Well, it's just good to have a good comic book conversation because.
And we're not done. That's the thing.
Can never be done.
No. Undone. Well, let's get back to some of these old, weird, bizarre comics.
Kind of the
Kicker Stink included.
Kicker Stink being our last one. I think I'm going to skip right to the one I've been chomping at the bit for. But as I told these guys before, I feel like the wind had been taken out of my sails because there is there was an article online written about this. It's a mashup between Planet of the Apes. We all love Planet of the Apes, the famous franchise that goes to this day, and everyone loves Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And another science fiction franchise that I didn't know there was a lot of demand for, and I didn't know everyone loved. Alien Nation. Apparently, there was demand for a mashup called Ape Nation. And it's the two properties colliding.
Yep.
Okay, that's silly. So we have the cover here. And there's a gorilla with a rifle, like from the original Planet of the Apes, next to, like, posing shoulder to shoulder in buddy cop fashion with a...
Which one is Danny Glover, is what I always... well, that's not... I'm not trying
racially
to...
inflammatory.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Well, it could be... I would... Briggs is obviously the guy with long hair. That's got to be the ape. And he's suicidal. The ape is suicidal. And what are you going to do?
So there's a cop here, the Mandy Patinkin alien cop from Alien Nation.
Who also has a playout in the comic, and he runs a Jewish deli. And the Alien Nation Jewish deli is, I think, and it's just...
I need to go back and watch that.
No.
It's a movie. I'm looking that up right now.
All seriousness, Mandy Patinkin is pretty much Chicago... I think he has on his business card.
Players.
Oh, is he? I don't know. I was just
like a big jazz trumpet player.
I was going to say on his business card, Chicago jazz Jewish representative actor. Well, like he's been in a lot of like Hebrew-based like plays and all. It's Mandy Patinkin. Come on, Potato Patinkin. Sorry.
If Mandy Patinkin was a horse. But the funniest thing about this cover is they're doing their cop movie pose in front of what looks like a destroyed bathroom. Like there's girders and stuff like a building.
Oh, is that a Darrow cover?
But there's tiles, like the walls have been tiled like
Coca-Cola.
a bathroom. But there's a Coke machine, and then on the other side there's a fire extinguisher, which could be in a bathroom.
And an accordion.
But there's an accordion, a record player, an accordion,
and a Sony,
a Walkman,
and there's a bicycle.
So the cover looks like they're cops, and one guy looks like a cop, and something blows up.
Maybe it's an antique store.
You open it up, and it's this really bad art.
The cover looks like Jeff Darrow.
It's in the Planet of the Apes universe, so the future that's kind of this quaint Wild West kind of motif here, but with apes, and then aliens come down and. So basically, it doesn't deliver on the sale of, no, this is action. This is action-packed cop
I love
nonsense.
the shotgun, just like the huge shells, like.
It's a very kind of Rob Liefeld design, and the belt with the bullets.
Talking about the buddy cop aspect of it, I'd like to bring it to the audience's attention that neither of you have seen Tango and Cash.
Yeah, is that what you think of when you think of Ape Nation?
It really is. And all I can think of is just the one-liners that should accompany it.
Well, what would you say? All right, let's come with a couple one-liners for this right now. You have to come up with two.
Right off the cuff, huh?
Yeah. I'll give you one. I'll start off. This ain't just flinging poo. And then the obvious one. And that might be the alien guy talking to the ape. We ain't just flinging poo. Shut your mouth. And then...
Shut up. Where's James Caan to save you now?
You've been conned into this, or it's time to.
He conned his way out of it.
Simi in the universe, one bullet at a time.
So, no, they have to be.
I can't work.
Is that nothing?
Simi in the universe?
Ape drape, because he's got kind of a mullet going on.
Is there water back here?
Oh, there's water. There's water in them hills. Yeah, where the bathroom is, pretty much. Mike's gonna go and he's gonna get lost. We'll find him later. But yeah, Ape Nation, nothing.
No, I have.
What would you think this guy would be saying in this situation? I'm pointing at the ape now.
I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, you can work it. Why not? Don't be afraid of it, John. There's no fail here except if you do bad. There's no fail unless you really are bad.
I don't know. This is ridiculous to me. Those two movies, putting those two movies together. Alien. No one even knows what they fucking. I guarantee no one knows or has seen Alien Nation.
I remember they're afraid or they can't for whatever reason jump in the ocean.
Not really.
It was sodium or whatever. But then again,
I really don't remember it. Like I know I've seen it, but it was fucking from like.
So they can't have any modern food because there's sodium in everything. I don't know. There's something weird about the oceans. They dissolve or something. And Mandy Patinkin is really big in it. Like he's really weird, like bulky. Like when Michael Chiklis was like made up to be the Thing, that's pretty much Mandy Patinkin's role. And then he has a violin, and then he does a Fiddler on the Roof, or like half of it.
I need to watch that. I gotta try to find a way to find.
Well, you got to take a pic of this. I mean, one of the things that at Sock Talk we should do more is, as John was complaining, rightfully so, visual representation of what we're laughing at and giving a good guffaw at. We actually have a lot. Actually, if I were to plug a comic book or a couple comic books, now this show has been roughly. John listening to Mike and I diverge about old girlfriends.
That's funny because I'm a fan of this stuff too, and it's just even my fucking attention span's drifted a little.
Well, hopefully people at home will love this, but I just wanted to plug because as we looked at Ape Nation, I wanted to, I guess, get into a comic book. You are covering from what we call Ape Nation, so you might want to get that checked. What was it? Mech, a comic book by Warren Ellis and by Homage Comics.
Nation does have a strict immigration policy.
Yeah. This comic was in 2002, Mech. So it's pretty good. It's a 3-issue series, I think. And it's pretty decent. Check it out. Mech, M-E-K. It's about people, pretty much like the acceleration of the iPad kind of smartphone culture of just combining just electronics with body parts and just making it work. But Mike also has something here he's given to me. But yeah, you were looking at it. It is a old back. You know, we were talking about bags and boards are pretty much just like you know. Mike, it was the shame of bagging and boarding, and me the shame of buying a comic or an action figure for myself or for my nephew because he loves that sort of thing. And he even goes, "What are you, faggot? Put that back." And I'm like, "Well, I am a bundle of 6." Oh, but I was dressed up like a flaming bundle of 6 for Halloween and his birthday. But there was a backing for when you used to get a subscription. I don't know if people really do that as much anymore because, I mean, they come a lot later than...
I think people don't buy comics as much
anymore. Well, that's another discussion, actually. You had a pretty good... When we went to New York Comic Con this past year, and that's something we can get into. And John, obviously, I mean, you've been into comics.
I try. Like, last time we went to Comic Book Speaking, I looked at... I was just looking at stuff, just kind of pulling stuff off the shelf. And every time I looked at it just to... see what was going on, try to get a gist of what was going on. It's like, Facebook, or it's like they're really bringing a lot of pop culture into comic books now, and pop culture sucks now. And I don't want to read about it in my comic books. Like I don't need to see Facebook on in my comic books now.
Well, there's always independent publishers.
Oh,
it's true. There always
has to be
what?
Superhero.
Well, I mean, I like to think that we read all sorts of comic books, and I mean, to be fair, I mean, Mike likes well, you like Three Fingered, not the Shocker comic I gave you, but no, there's this great Rich Kozlowski, I think, and who does a great comic book called Three Geeks. It hasn't been done for a while, I think. I think he did something a couple years ago.
It's about people who bite the heads off chickens.
Yeah,
right?
Three Geeks and Geeksville, all through the day. But
one of my favorite comic book series that I'm never going to get a chance to finish was
Three Fingers, really good.
A series called Poisonelles, written and drawn by this guy named Drew Hayes. It was an independent comic put out by Sirius back in the day, and it was just this amazing fantasy story.
Satellite radio.
Yes, not the satellite radio, but it was just this amazing fantasy
or the dog show
series. Yeah. And, the author actually died like a few years back. So it's like,
Oh, wow.
and the story was just starting to get like really intense, and like, he was building up to this like whole giant war, and like the world was starting to get all interesting, and like he died. So the book is just I'll never get to finish it, and that's so disheartening because like it was one of my favorite comic books ever, and it's just like
At least it never got shitty.
That's true. That is a good way to look at it.
I'm a glasses half full kind of guy.
No, I mean and looking at this backer, getting back to man,
There is some gems on there. The Marvel Absurd.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Take a look.
Well, this
Oh good.
This board, it's
a subscription backing. When you got a subscription back in the day, you get it a little after they get it on the. It's like the time because there are 2 shipping times. There's one for newsstand and there's one for like direct to the comic book shops. Comic book shops used to get their comics before subscription. When I was a kid, sometimes I would buy the comic before my parents got me a subscription too when I was a kid. And I'd be like, oh, I see it in a comic book store. I'm like, oh, why didn't that come in yet? It's like, oh, I must be. And we didn't know. My parents wouldn't be like, yeah, we got it this day, so you'll have it on this month will be your last one, so I wouldn't know. So I might have a double. But they came with a backer or a board. And they had like the address on it. And this one was actually for my grandfather's house in Lowell back in the day in 1996. And
it's actually. It serves. It obviously can serve a purpose as a backing board, but it also is like a giant postcard.
Yep.
And on the side where you write things in, it's a subscription form. So it's an advertisement for the thing you're getting in case you want more.
Sure.
And it has Marvel Comics, their product for the 1997-1996 year, and it's all broken down into different, like, okay, so there's Spider-Man books, and here are the Spider-Man books you can choose. Here are the X-Men books you can choose from. Here are the Conan books you can choose from. Here are the general Marvel Universe, like Captain America, Avengers stuff. But then they have one branch, Marvel Absurd, and it's like the Marvel logo, but where it usually says comics, it says absurd in some goofy comic typeface. But, like, on a splat, like, as if it had been just splatted onto the, because absurdity means goop and gunk
jism,
and jizz, and the only Marvel, and apropos, the only titles are Beavis and Butthead and Ren and Stimpy, so, which I had both of those comics back in the day.
Yeah, the
Ren and Stimpy there was a bag, the first issue is bagged.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and you opened it up. You couldn't see the cover, and you opened the bag and pulled it out, and the cover was
them at the dentist.
Ren,
no, that was
Beavis and Butthead.
Sorry.
Was Ren yelling at Stimpy and the audience, "Why'd you take it out of the bag? It's not worth anything now." Got me when I was a kid. I was like,
Is that back in the like variant cover?
Yeah.
Well, here's the irony. Getting back to, I guess if we're going to merge into a comic show, that's what's happening exactly right now, or it's been happening in the past couple of years. They've been emulating the same behaviors that got them in trouble because they think, it's not going to happen twice. We're definitely going to get out of this hole. Let's dig up. And they just kind of they're appealing to the people who are still buying en masse and still buying like variant covers and like adults.
I'm noticing crossovers like that X-Men Avengers thing I was reading that versus. I figured I'd check it out. I read it while I was waiting for you guys today, and like
the preview or whatever.
Yeah, I read the preview, and it was like to be continued in X-Men number something, Avengers number something. It's like, all right, I remember this. You got to buy 18 different books, and like then it all makes sense at some point. I was like,
Well, you don't have to buy every book. Or you can buy like the mainstay. Like they always have the miniseries. You can just buy and follow the story. And like
which is incomprehensible unless you
right. Yeah.
Not all the time. To be fair, sometimes it's pretty straightforward, but there are a lot of side stories that they won't flesh out.
The key to one of those miniseries is it has to be ideally the protagonist of that miniseries has to be a character that has an arc within those issues and can actually have repercussions by the end. And one of the best examples of it is Infinity Gauntlet, where, every character is involved, and in their own book they're dealing with the events as depicted in the main miniseries, but the main miniseries isn't just stupid people punching for 8 issues.
Nice.
And that story is Thanos. Thanos is the main, and the protagonist is the villain of the story. and how he had been tricked by the devil, and how Adam Warlock came after him, and then his fall from grace because he's too prideful, and that's a cool story. Has a beginning, middle, and end. There you go.
Yeah. And then we have...
It's not just like, I'll take an example, Civil War being one of the worst.
I really liked Civil War, but I have the trade paperback, and it's just Civil War. Like I know there's a bunch of like
there's
like 12 volumes.
Yeah, and like I don't understand what that's about. Do I need to read those?
No, you don't. I mean, they're just like I will argue. No,
yeah, but like I enjoyed the Civil War story.
I would say to tell you about like if you need to read those other ones. No, I mean you're getting the base story of what's happening there. There are Fallout stories in Civil War. What happens at they kind of just go back to whatever. But I remember talking to you about it, and you're like they really make no like bones about it. They want you to pick Cap's team. They don't necessarily want you to fall in line with Iron Man and his kind of...
Well, it's weird because I've always thought if you're, and this can turn to a, discussion and a half, but if you're on the wrong side of a beating from Captain America...
Oh, the Punisher you're talking about? Are you talking about that?
No, I'm just talking about in general. If you're going against Captain America, you're wrong. Like Iron Man, it's like, oh, you're wrong until somehow we come to an agreement, but you're wrong, and the audience, and the audience likes underdogs, and the audience likes, Captain America and stuff in that position of freedom fighter, and but then at the end it's like, oh no, we're right and he was wrong, and we just want to publish things this way, so you have to buy it, and we're gonna put some.
I did like the meaning that Captain America throws the Punisher in that book, though, and Punisher's just like
doesn't fight back.
He doesn't fight back, and he's like, hit me. He's like, hit me. He's like, not you. And he's all fucked up, and it's just so good.
That's a book of scenes, not really a plot. There's a cool scene there. When the Punisher appears and blows those guys' heads off. Yeah. That's a cool scene, but and every action movie cliche, the biggest action movie cliche that you would think someone as media savvy as Mark Millar, you would assume he would be, and as all the publishers of Marvel Comics, you'd think they would know the cliches of storytelling, of genre storytelling in the 21st century. But the black guy is the first guy and only guy to die.
Goliath, yeah.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Well, he goes to check out if the killer's in the house, and then he
doesn't bring his flashlight.
No, he doesn't bring a gun, flashlight, or knife. You guys wait here. No, it's kind of weird.
He was about to retire.
Yeah, he was. He was 3 seconds away from retiring. But no, it was bizarre. Yeah, I actually have to reread it. But yeah, the thing that kind of gets me. The thing I love about Avengers Academy is a great thing that comes out of it. Like, there are cool little side stories that, like, I disagree. I think there are a lot of things that change the universe in it. Because you get, like, this other, like, now we have to build up this whole, like, workforce.
They pulled, like, a mind warp. They pulled, like, a mind erase on that, too, didn't they? Because I remember Peter Parker shows...
Oh, that's a whole different... That's a whole, like, that's Spider-Man in his own. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. That's what they did with Spider-Man last decade was pretty much...
Terrible.
Yeah, there was some fun stuff in it. I like some of J. Michael Straczynski's run on it because he tried to play up the sci-fi aspect and kind of like a weird Aztecian.
The spiritual fucking made me so mad.
No, there are some things that are pretty awesome though. Like, okay, I get it. Like, just try to take it to a new place, and that's fun. But they don't. They do it, but then they just like. You guys like that? You guys like
what we did? What we did, huh?
And then they're just like, how about this? And then they show you a new, shinier car, and it just has nothing to do with the last car. Like, why don't we just accelerate what we were just doing and bring it to a point? But they just pretty much, like, they retcon the shit out of everything. And it's pretty much, well, yeah, that's pretty much what they did. But I think that was the best thing they did. I mean, I think the Dan Slott stuff is amazing. I haven't read all of it, but from what I read...
Here's an unpopular opinion. I don't really care much about Spider-Man.
Oh, just in general?
Yeah, and I think...
It's an unpopular opinion.
I think I agree with Steve Ditko when it kind of loses it, when
he becomes
it goes
an adult.
off premise when he's an adult.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So everything after... 1970.
See, it's funny because I don't like any of the old 70s stuff. I don't like the original Spider-Man.
I don't like it either because of that style of storytelling and stuff.
Anything written in the 70s was campy and terrible.
The original Ditko stuff is great. Like, the art is fantastic. The original villains, they're like, because I can't go back how the art is just that so good, and it tells the story in so many volumes because it's creepy because it's this lanky kid. It's a kid involved with like. You read a Tales from the Crypt comic, and that's who Doc Ock is. Read the Lizard, and he's a crazy the feral beast. Yeah, and like Electro or any of these like Mysterio is kind of crazy. Shocker, yeah. Well, that was more. I think he came along with the Romita. Romita was not. Romita was a lot cleaner.
I like Romita. I don't even like Romita. I like Romita Jr.
Romita Jr. is awesome.
Bagley, Larson.
Bagley, I like
Shocker. He's wearing his blue blockers.
And he's got mad balls. But he was actually the great Deadly Foes of Spider-Man, early 90s. Bagley. It was actually a great Herman Schultz Shocker. Yeah, no, they're all like these B-level villains, maybe even C. And the Shocker was the best because he was afraid. He was chicken shit. And it was awesome because he was afraid that this guy, Ghost Hunter, or the Punisher, was going to shoot him because he was a vigilante. And that was like a real fear, and he was kind of like a coward, and it was really cool and really played with him. I don't know. I like chicken shit characters. What do you want? Well, it's pretty good. But Fool Killer. A buddy of mine really loved Fool Killer.
Fool Killer, well, is Steve Gerber.
Really?
I've never read the actual miniseries, but Fool Killer has a big part in Mark Gruenwald's Cap run.
Oh, weird.
Where there's a lot of like
that's the early 90s,
massacres.
Right?
No, mid-80s.
Mid-80s?
Oh, never read
that's Capwolf.
Capwolf is 90s.
But that's Grunwald, isn't it?
That is Grunwald. Grunwald wrote Captain America from 84, I believe. Yeah. Which was right after J.M. DeMatteis's run.
Oh, okay.
Which was a good
Did
run.
he write or did he draw it?
Who?
DeMatteis.
Wrote it.
Oh, he's an artist too, right?
No.
Oh, I thought he was.
Not that I know. But his storyline had the most comprehensive origin of Red Skull up until that point.
Oh.
Up until issue 300, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, it's absolutely fucking terrifying. And Red Skull is the greatest Marvel villain because he's the only one that... the Marvel way being, well, we have villains that... Imagine this, you can relate to them because they're, They had,
a decision away from being a superhero.
Red Skull, absolute piece of shit. Absolute monster.
Have you read the new Red Skull miniseries? Written by a German writer who's, I believe it's called Red Skull, An Apology. No, no, there's an actual Red Skull.
Mark Gruenwald's Red Skull.
Well, but DeMatteis was...
Oh, DeMatteis had the origin.
Sorry.
Gruenwald's around Acts of Vengeance when all the villains would get together and look at Red Skull and be like, I'm not as bad as that guy. This guy sucks. And then
Bartrock the Leaper is just kind of like, I'm just French Leaper asshole.
After a long time, it's like, I've been trying to hunt that guy down.
Oh, shit.
He killed my people and he killed my family.
Yep.
So there's this whole storyline in Grunwald's Cap where Magneto kidnaps Red Skull.
That's pretty awesome.
And buries him in a fallout shelter.
Whoa.
With two bottles of water. And he's like, you're going to starve like my family did. Okay, see you later.
Oh, wow.
And it's awesome. I cannot recommend Grunwald's Cap enough.
All right. Well, you bring up a good point, not to jump, but the fear of Nazis in contemporary comic book, at least mainstream comic book culture, and in movies. The fear of involving the Nazis. Because they're evil supervillain teams. The Nazis pretty much are there as the real life, Nazi super team. Super villain team, I'm sorry.
Well, I think the thing with, obviously, the high-profile Cap, Hydra isn't really Nazis, and that's what Red Skull is.
That's
probably just for European
marketing. Yes, of course.
And the comics aren't made for marketing, so...
No, but
marketed in America.
But they also they reflected the same type of thing. But it was also to market the Cap story too, but they Cap and Hydra, they went back and forth. But actually, they didn't necessarily say Red Skull wasn't a Nazi. But they do have that kind of tinge of
what in the movie.
I mean in the comic.
Oh, there is it's
as of recent.
recently.
But that's no. I would say back in there were no druthers. I mean, the whole point of Captain America was this was a fictionalized character. We kind of talked online a couple times, and I think I said to you, it's kind of awesome that it was a great way to fight back against the Nazi propaganda.
Yeah.
It's an American propaganda piece that like
Comics
Jewish
were huge
boys.
for doing that back in the day.
These
Well, it's
Jewish teenagers. It's in '39, isn't it?
It was pre our involvement in the war
Yeah.
when German
Nazi
bunts,
sentiment.
which were Nazi groups in America, had big lobbyists and politicians kind of dealt with just like the political scene nowadays with
The Tea Party or whatnot.
Weird. Not
And I don't mean
fringe.
I guess all Tea Party, but most.
Well, and fringe political
Yeah.
stuff having associations with actual people in government, like the fringe being kind of in with, but the fringe at this point being Nazis. And when Captain America came out with him punching Hitler
on the front cover, which is
that
awesome.
was politically incendiary
Yes.
back then because they got death threats and Jack Kirby
And they were
had
Jewish,
to go down.
so-
Yeah.
Oh no! Tell me the
Well,
story.
the according to legend is they kept getting angry letters from Nazi sympathizers, and then at the Timely offices or whatever it was, and Jack, these guys are downstairs. He rolled up his sleeves, went downstairs alone, and then came back. Then they never got a letter again. Whatever he did down there, maybe he beat the shit out of him, but.
Not to say violence solves everything, but I think.
But it makes for a smashing film.
Boom! Smash! Crack! It wasn't just crack. Correct.
I'm kind of
The
curious
artists
about
are
picking up maybe a Captain America book. I've never read a Captain America book. I didn't start to care about Captain America until I can't even remember what it was I watched, but I think it was the Civil War. The Civil War actually made me interested in Captain America because it was like the whole Civil War thing was kind of a good tie-in with modern political.
The Ken Burns.
No, I'm talking about the Civil War.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
But it actually got me interested in Captain America just to see like that he would just issue out a beating. I didn't realize he was that badass, and
he's pretty badass.
He was he was righteous, but he was never really in a bad way. He wasn't delusional righteous. He was just like the right kind of righteous.
Well, there's a lot about Cap. I love Cap. I can go on days and days about Cap. If you want to get into
Cap talk,
from a now starting cold, I'd say the easiest way would be to get Brubaker's trades from the beginning. Because when he took over the character, he made it awesome. Even though he brought Bucky back, which he
wore a shirt, and we saw him in San Diego, said Bucky should stay dead. Or he actually wore that shirt. The crazy brother wore that shirt.
But it's an awesome retcon when he brought Bucky
Winter
back.
Soldier.
That's a cool story. It goes through Civil War, and the Civil War issues are awesome because it ties both the ongoing story, and the Civil War story. But my favorite Cap is mid-80 Grunwald ones. There's the story with when he quits being Captain America for the umpteenth time, but he's replaced with the dude who would eventually become U.S. agent, and Steve Rogers becomes the Captain. That I cannot recommend that story enough.
I have to check it out. Marvel's so weird. Like how they do stuff changes. They change so much shit around. It's tough to keep up.
But they the Grunwald ones are harder to get a hold of because they're sporadically collected. They didn't start from like a Captain America Visionaries Mark Grunwald Volume 1. They didn't do it like that. They did the John Walker Battlestar storyline, which is a big trade. They did the Capwolf one because apparently there's the demand for the story when he becomes, which isn't complete dog shit.
No, I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't.
It's okay.
I'd go into that thinking it's werewolves and Captain America. I mean,
it is what it is.
Don't give me that.
But throughout Grunwald's run in the 80s, it's peppered with Talking Heads references.
Oh, weird.
Like throughout it, because it's like I don't know if there's something
No, I'm
going
just.
on.
He's asking me timing, and I'm giving him like LA Dodgers
Yeah,
first
like
base.
doing Morse code. He's like tapping me like.
Yeah.
But I
Don't
love
you get
Cap to all our dozen listeners.
And half of them are Ukrainian, so they're gonna have a problem with this.
Yeah,
It's a good take.
Well, Captain Ukraine.
Cool.
Actually,
Captain Ukraine is pretty good. His Blue Skull counterpart is.
his hideout in Minsk, in Ukraine, right?
We're not allowed to discuss.
Other countries.
Yeah, Christopher Mintz is what we're talking about.
This is America.
With a K. Seriously though, we have to give our shout out to a KKK member who gave us $1 to mention them. So sorry.
The crusty comeback.
Crusty comeback comedy classic. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I guess we're rounding out the end. But Mike, I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast. I think we both talked about it. We talked about it with Colleen. We say hello to. We haven't mentioned before. I figured I was going to mention to my Colleen joke of the week or something to get her more involved politically and just everything. But I figured what it was going to be. Something about shower chat or have Jeff, her husband, do something lewd. But I don't know. I don't even know.
The Jeff who told us about it came
from Hollywood. Yeah, which actually that should suffice for future episodes. But
it came from my ass.
It did.
It happened.
It happened. Oh.
Come on, guys, get it right.
Well, most of
When
our
I
jokes.
go on xhamster.com, I'm not going to be able to find it if I.
Well, Ken, you think we could get a legit? Like, we'd love to sponsor you.
Sponsorship
Yeah,
one?
I'm looking at you, buddy. Not that they need it. It's like, oh, people need porn. Well, how do we get people to come here to watch pornography?
Do we have to
Stop
show
talking.
naked women?
I don't want to do this anymore. I'm a legit businessman with hamsters. Damn it, ex-hamsters.
But aren't those free porn? Those free porn sites are just an ad
for other levels.
No, this one's legitimately amazing. This and Red
yeah, but they have
It's-
levels of payment you
Yeah.
can make for like other types of.
But you don't even
pornography.
need to. Though,
No,
because
you
there's
don't.
Thousands of videos, and like X Hamster is great because you can look up you can legitimately do a search for any old movie you can think of,
Yeah.
and it's there, like the full movie, and
But
you can watch it for free.
It's not like some other ones that are like user based. They're like social.
No, you
it's
can.
less
You
social
can.
network.
You can.
There's people that comment. And
There
stuff
is,
and
which
rate
actually is
videos.
weird and rapey, but it's still got its kind of thing.
Yeah,
to
this is
it.
kind of weird when you think about it. It's like, yeah, I jerked off to this. It's good. Check it out.
Well, there is
That's
a whole
the
bunch.
best thing about the internet.
Yep.
There's this book by one of my favorite authors, Samuel Delaney.
Oh, I thought it was Jump Bias. I'm sorry, but she's a lyricist. I'm sorry.
He has this book called, and I've never read it, called Times Square Red, Times Square Blue, or something like that. And it's about the gentrification of Times Square, and about how back in his day, this
Naughty
is where all
strippers.
the gay porno theaters were, and we'd all
Ooh.
jerk off together in them. And people from different classes, a city needs a place where different people from different classes meet up for a gay anonymous sex.
Well, they do have a run-up, but that's what they have gay men's bathhouse for, or highway bathroom.
Well, yeah, but the thing of
Let's get into it.
I think the point
As I
he
like
is
to call
making.
Yeah,
of,
I know, yeah.
Of these people,
The
everyone
beautification,
coming
yeah.
together, and it's made for this, and people from all walks of life meet each other, and it's good for society as a whole because different classes are.
Can we agree MEAT is the meat we're referring to?
But
I'm sorry.
his book says how it's bad for society that gay men can't come together and jerk each other off in a place. But it's like, dude, the internet, like that's what it was made for.
Or your house. Like, no
Right,
one's going to
like-
stop.
But meeting up with, like, if you're actually, like,
Yeah.
face-to-face meeting up gay hookups, I mean, it's like, you know what Craigslist is, right?
Yeah.
Because I do.
Well, I think we talked about, like, it's great for penthouse letters and for, dick pics. That's all, like...
Penthouse letters?
Well, that's pretty much what, I mean, like, you go there and you filter through, if you're gay, it's great. And part of it, but there's also a small contingency of, like, yeah, I'm a lady, I just want to have sex. Come on over. And just, that's what happened.
Dear Penthouse.
Craigslist more.
Huh?
Dear Penthouse, I'm a 30-year-old woman who doesn't enjoy sex, which is a
Why do you
joke
sound
from
60?
Mystery Science Theater
Oh, all right.
that I never got... the concept of penthouse letters was introduced to me through Mystery Science
Oh,
Theater.
weird. Well, actually, I guess on that note, MST through care for all our Misty fans out there. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Look them up online. Take them in. You're a Joel guy, or more. You're on the fence. Oh wow, you've been Mike.
You know, I like the character of Joel. I like his delivery better, but I think the show was at its best with Mike.
Hi-oh.
Mike has always been a head writer, or except for the KTLA days, which are online too if you haven't checked them out. And that's a completely different. It's fun to watch as from a nostalgic point of view, or just like a weird what's going on. Josh Winehouse is a horrible Tom Servo. Like he really is bad.
Well,
he's
Crow isn't good either. They haven't
No.
in the groove yet.
Well, here's the thing. It's all improv.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
Yeah.
It's all improv when they're out there, and one talkbacker said it best. It's like the time in between comments is large, and it's like it's not as snappy because they don't have writing sessions to do it. But it's awesome because all I could think about was like WGB or like old like UHF stations around the Boston area.
WNDS out of Manchester.
Yeah, it's still going now, and now it's the Winds or something. I forget what it's called.
Winds of New England.
Oh,
WNDS.
but didn't they change it up with another like
They
there's
added an I.
No, I think there was a legit there's the WNDS and then there's another one kind of like maybe it was
I don't know. Did you dream this?
yeah probably I don't even know the difference. I'm awake or what's the name of that new show? Awake. Oh, yeah.
Is this hell?
Is this heaven?
This is heaven. Holy shit! We gotta
Right.
talk about that after.
Wait, hold on. All right, so I guess the whole thing MST3K, look it up. But I like Mike. I've always liked Mike, but I appreciate Joel a lot more now. I like it. I think their deliveries are different, and it's tough to gauge them on because Mike's more of a comedic guys like stand-up delivery with a little tinge of sarcasm. Joel is fucking in the desert as far as deliveries. He's a dry motherfucker. So,
Yeah.
and that's definitely it's great. I like Trace Beaulieu. Is that's how you say his name, right?
Baloo, I think.
Baloo. Yeah, it's getting a little French. But yeah, he's the original. He is the original Crow, and then it goes.
I like the Bill Corbett, Kevin Murphy, Mike
Bill
Nelson.
Corbett is
Yeah.
awesome.
Vehicle.
Bill
That's
Corbett
as
Crow
far as
is
I'm concerned.
awesome.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, that's the only Mystery Science Theater is the three of them.
You have to watch Mitchell. You at least will love Mitchell. It's the
Watched it
last.
the other day.
Yeah, it was online. Watch it online. It's the last Joel one, and Mike is on there, and it's pretty fantastic. Like that. And he had another one. I didn't know. Like the last season, they had another Joe Don Baker movie called Final Justice. Which
awesome.
have you ever?
Oh
yeah,
my
it's so
God.
ridiculous. Yeah, Hotchka is another.
Hotchka
But there's
is
another type.
The last season of both Sci-Fi Channel and Comedy Central are amazing, and it's such a shame that every time they get into the best grooves, they get canceled. Season 10
is awesome.
Merlin Magical Mystery Place.
Squirm.
Squirm.
The Lake. Devil.
Moonbeast. Track of
Moonbeast.
the Moonbeast.
Oh no, that's not 10.
Yeah, it is.
No, I thought that's 7.
No, Track of the Moonbeast.
Oh, that's the werewolf one.
No, Track of the Moonbeast is
No.
like the rock comes.
Yeah, and it's the Native American
That's
tracker.
Werewolf.
Yeah,
No, werewolf is another one. It's a great one, but I
Track
thought
of the
Moonbeast, he
Moonbeast.
turns into a reptile. Is
Yeah,
that, okay.
and there's that musical interlude with California Lady. It's true. I've never seen it until recently. I always kind of had, probably just due to nostalgia, like, no, season 4 and 5 are the best because they're Joel episodes and whatever. But recently, no man, the Sci-Fi Channel ones
The
are
sci-fi
awesome.
are really good.
And season 7's awesome with Incredible Melting Man.
And Space Mutiny, I think, is on that one, I think. Or it might
No,
be 8 or
that's
9. Oh, that's 8? Space Mutiny is...
Does his entrance warrant the dun 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 dun?
Cow God.
Spun speed chug.
Yeah, speed-
Punt speed chug.
Chuck Bone Mail. No, that's a... Space Mutiny is a good one to start. Because it's not... I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's not like a horrible one. That's the thing with MST. You have to be careful. Because the movie can be that bad. And it doesn't matter how good they are.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the movie is just that, like, I can't get through this.
Monster a Go-Go.
Monster a Go-Go. But yeah, all right. So what else did you want to jump into about This Is Heaven?
Oh,
are we talking
nothing.
about Brian Aguilar? Or
Right, a friend of ours from
Hello,
college who lives in Seoul now.
Yeah, and who has plenty of soul in Seoul.
But
South Korea.
He sent me like a handwritten
Oh
letter.
shit! I have to get it from my house. I thank you for reminding me. No, I've had it for like a half a year. And I forgot.
Longer than that,
Oh, a year maybe?
I
think it's a
talking to
year.
him the
Oh,
other day.
he yelled at me about it. Yeah.
He was like, "That was like 2 years ago."
What do you want? We don't see each
He
other.
and I had some times together.
Oh yeah, you were his
I would love
roommate.
to visit him in Korea. Where he's all
Bring the
serious
shades.
now.
Bring the shades, and then it's party time. It's just to everyone. I've never known this man to wear sunglasses so effervescently, but.
Well, and I take them off.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, where they do an MST. I forget what episode it was. Oh shit! When they do a lot of Prince references because there's a Prince.
Oh, it's not
Apple Pie.
007. It's
Something secret agent.
for harm.
Agent
for Harm.
Yeah.
I have to protect that apple pie. I don't understand your metaphor, but all right. American is apple pie. But there's a character in Agent
I'm
from
driving
Harm.
around my
It's a really
Oh no, let's go! I just-
Can we stop by the store and pick up some cream?
But all right. We actually have to go. We're running later than we usually do. But I guess
This has
It
been
was
a
all
fucking
in
hiatus for you.
nostalgic college.
yeah.
Phil and I don't see each other as much as we used to, so...
And this is a great platform for silliness and
I'm
comic
glad
books.
I could witness your love today.
Well, I'm glad you could try to get involved, John.
Nice.
It was good. The bitterness in John's hooded face. Which, why, no, in all seriousness, why are you wearing a hood today? It's pretty warm in here.
I'm fucking chilling. Nicka. Nicka. What's up?
Oh, my.
No, but I am going to mug both.
Thanks again.
So it's business casual.
Business casual, as per usual. This has been Sock Talk, and thank you, Mike, for stopping by. Anything you'd like to plug or say hello? Yeah, we actually try to end.
Nothing
I
at all.
hate every bit of commerce. Yeah, I guess we plug Comically Speaking again.
Yes.
And Reading, Massachusetts. It's on and 28. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say today, woken up with the news that Mobius died.
Mobius died?
Yes.
Holy shit. Well, this will be airing on Monday or Tuesday, so hopefully
So it'll be Mobius Monday.
No, Mobius Strip Monday. Sorry.
No,
Oh, that
Morbius.
sucks. Morbius. Oh, who was not... Oh, we didn't talk about this at all, but he was a living vampire. You couldn't say vampire.
Right.
But we'll get into a whole other conversation about nerdery. But yeah, Comically Speaking, Asylum Studios.
Yep, SoundStudios.biz. We're going to, shit, we're going to New York next week?
We're going to New Jersey next week, the armpit of the U.S.
Jersey, fucking whatever it is.
The Jersey Dyke, D-Y-K-E. It's what holds all the water from Jerry Van Dyke.
I don't know, my name is jonahfilm.com.
Oh, yeah, my name is jonahfilm.com. There's some more promo stuff coming our way.
It's fucking fantastic.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be based off of 80s action movies.
Commando.
So.
Get ready for it, folks.
All right, guys. Well, that's it from us here, and nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, Mike.
Check
for
out,
everything.
folks, again,
What?
www.socktalkpodcast.
Oh, yeah.
.wordpress.com.
All our stuff will be on there.
You can get every past episode. You can download them, and we are now on iTunes, so you can get them there. And also, you can leave comments and some feedback, because that would be nice to know what you guys like and what you don't like.
We actually will get to a question Cross actually left for us, who did the music and outro for, I think, our second or third episode, about which game console you think will last the longest. I think I might have answered at one point. But I suggest Xbox and PlayStation will probably be there for the long
I think it's
haul.
going to be a fucking tie-in between those
Yeah,
two.
Nintendo might actually win out, because PlayStation is weird. They don't seem to... I mean, they're under the radar, but they're still around.
Well, what they do is PlayStation will put out titles you just can't live without, like Uncharted or God of War, and it's like I will buy the system for those.
And they're solely
they have
they have the sole rights to them.
Yeah, they're like weird. They're like Nintendo used to be.
EOUL. Right, I'm sorry to bring it back around. But all right, yeah, that's good. All right, we answered that. But I'm sorry, Mike's got this blank stare. If he doesn't have the shades, I don't know what's going on. But all right, man.
Well, that's when I zone out.
Oh yeah, Mike has to. One of the things before we go into shit, Mike has to see all the old Simpsons episodes, and yeah, he's been looking to get into it. So wish him well in his Simpsons journey.
Well, yeah, I've begun
Good journey,
season 3.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh all right.
It starts getting good around season 3, so really good around
4.
season
Well, yeah, season 3.
comes into its own.
Lisa goes to Washington.
Yes, which is really Harry Shearer's favorite satire episode, and at the end, George Bush Sr. signed George H. Bush.
Season 4, though. Wait to get into season 4 is like one of the.
Season 4 is pretty amazing.
Well, I know I've seen them all. Like watching them now, and it's like, yeah, I've seen. I just haven't been systematic about it.
You'll get gain a greater appreciation because the actual shot structure, and I know that's like my thing, my tag, but shot structure is important. I think it
shot structure.
Yeah, money shot structure.
Well, if it comes to the phone.
Yeah, if it comes, then that's the structure of it. It's analog or digital.
Semen through a phone.
Okay, semen through a phone.
Semen through a phone.
Give us a call.